you from the Radio for One studios in Franklin, Michigan. Welcome to the Detroit Cast.
Big fan.
A show not just free of charge, but free of FCC regulations.
Thank you for your support of the Detroit Cast.
Oh, there it is.
And without further delay, it's showtime. Please welcome the Detroit Cast. Here are your hosts, Mike and Jay.
All right. Hey, everybody. Welcome to the Detroit Cast on a Monday with Mike and Jay. Big E is here. Kadog, still an asshole, but he's here. Ah, Poos is here.
Look at that, Poos.
How are you, buddy?
I'm well. I just listened to E for about 45 minutes. He's still on his high from last night.
As he should be.
Yeah.
Great success, E.
Yeah, wow. I already said it on Facebook, and we've talked about it enough, so I'm not going to get too – but it meant so much to me. It was so cool how many comedy nights I've done to – I said it in a statement to one birdie today, how many times I've driven 2 hours. I've driven to Toledo before for 5 minutes. So that just really worthwhile. It was really cool all day on Facebook. My Facebook is blowing up all day today just with likes and this. So thank you, everybody, so much for coming out. I hope you guys all had a fun time.
Yeah.
Just to reset it for people who didn't come out. Laugh Tracks on Saturday night was great. It was E's little comedy show there. He put together 5 other comics.
Yeah.
And they all, had a set, and he closed it out real well and had a huge group of TDC fans there. So that was awesome.
It was crazy. We drew over 100 people there.
Yeah, dude. That was almost sold out.
I would say
it's as close as you could get to a sellout without being a sellout.
It was standing room.
Right. I mean,
there were no tables left.
No, people had to put chairs, obviously, put some folding chairs up. So that was great.
It went to quite well for sure. I'd say right in that range.
Absolutely.
He did good though, but I gotta say, I'll leave it at this, man. I saw a different E on stage than I do every day.
Yeah.
It's interesting to see that, because when he's here, it's like he's a fucking 11-year-old and you just want to slap him around. But up there, he had like a presence.
Yeah, confidence.
Hell yeah.
You know what it was?
I gotta say, without sounding patronizing, I was proud of him.
Yeah.
I
know I am too. Whenever I see him live like that, especially the last few times. I mean, I was at E's very first stand-up. When he tripped over the cord of his microphone.
Right.
So, and fell down on the stage. Like what you would do in a bad movie if you were trying to be funny about something like that, and you would go, oh, like that would never happen. Like
he did it.
Yeah, he did.
Well, Jay, I mean, and we don't have to go through the whole history, but literally, I always remember the first time I ever did it in a show back to the Drew Mike show.
That was so stacked against you, though. There was no way to win.
Did you give him 3 minutes to write a set?
We gave him a half hour
and
to write 5 minutes.
Right.
Or we told you to write a 5 minutes?
This is what happened. How it went. I was going to take this class, and Mike and Mark are both like, don't worry, we'll help you out with some ideas. And all I said was no, I got a few ideas. And they're like, oh, really? You do? Go. It's
you got this shit.
Right.
Oh, okay.
Can you imagine that? You're being pulled onto a mic in front of hundreds of thousands of people.
Drew and Mike fucking show.
You've never done that in your life. And you were just given a matter of minutes to write a comedy set.
Yeah. Well, he was like, I think we got into a conversation about, well, you only have to do 10 minutes anyways. How hard could that be? And Mark and I just look at each other. Immediate light bulbs go off, and you're like, okay,
really?
This asswipe can't really think pulling 5 minutes of decent comedy material together is something you do in a blink of an eye. You don't realize how long 5 minutes is until just set your timer down.
Well, let's just say this. We're into 4 minutes, 15 seconds into this show.
Yeah. And that's at least mildly stimulating to us in the room. Just set your stopwatch at 5 minutes, hit start, and watch it. And tell me how long 5 minutes is. And so for us, it's like, oh, this is going to be hilarious. Yeah, E, no, you got this shit, dude. Yeah, just get in the studio there and write yourself up 5 minutes, and then just
bombed it.
God, dude, it was so
you've
bad.
been there since the beginning, and then you see him up there like that. And this is what I like, dude. I hadn't heard any of those jokes.
Yeah, I hadn't either.
I purposely knew that since you guys don't come out as often, I did not want you to hear repeat stuff. Some of the listeners that come every time have heard me start to work through some of those.
Okay.
But I knew that I didn't want you guys to hear stuff you'd heard before.
Yeah,
that's why I didn't tell the hooker joke. I didn't tell that very specifically because I wanted to show that I have more than that in my repertoire.
Yeah.
So.
And they're well thought out things. Like
there's definitely some concepts he can work
it
on
can be
and
improved
really
on, for
hone
sure.
it, and
For sure.
It's got great potential.
I looked at it very objectively today. It was not my best set. There's punchlines that could be hit harder. There's ones that could be drawn harder. Of course, it helps when you have 100 effing people that are, here because of this show. And when I can say boys will be boys and it gets a laugh break.
Yeah.
But that's part of it too. And I think that the listeners, I could see where the listeners probably had a really fun time, because I think there was jokes that I really have worked on, but also a little something for if you're a listener, you kind of got a bonus, like with some, some of the sayings and whatnot.
Yeah.
Congress, if you will, and so forth.
No, it was fun. Thanks everybody for turning out. It was a good
cool.
time.
It meant
meeting
so much
everybody.
to me.
Yeah,
Sorry.
It put good money in E's pocket. You made over $500.
Yeah, which really helped out because I'd had some work in my car that I needed to pay off my dad for that week. So,
Nice.
but that's something. And everyone has bills, so
Sure.
And
Yeah.
You can always use $500.
It was cool. Beth got nice and hammered.
Beth got involved. I was going to
Yeah,
say
she was,
I liked her set the best. I think out of all
It was
6
solid.
of the comics.
It was a solid set. She had some good points, some very good punchlines.
Beth got a little bit liquored up and sat in the front row. And I'm one of those people.
Well, you made the mistake of leaving her for a while.
Well,
Right?
I didn't.
She stumbled.
You
into
came
the
and stood by me in the back, and I'm like, "Hey, that's Beth up there alone."
She wanted me to go up there with her, and I was like, "Beth, someone's on stage. You don't walk up to the front and sit at a table because it's disruptive. It's disruptive to a comic on stage. I have the utmost respect for anybody that can get on a stage with a microphone. And for the most part, while these guys weren't open micers, they might as well be open micers.
Right.
They're not established veteran comedians who are used to taking a stage. And to me, that's extremely difficult to do. It's not like you're flying off the cuff. It's a set you've worked on. If you've done it right, you've worked it out alone. You've worked it out in shitty clubs. And here you're getting to do it in front of 150 people or 100 people. And you don't need help from an audience. You don't need someone throwing something out there. Not that she was that disruptive, but anything to me is no, you don't fucking do that. You just don't do that to a comic.
Yeah.
And so when she went walking up there, I went, she can go up there. I'm not walking up there in the middle of some guy's set. And of course she sits down and I don't know what she said.
I didn't even hear it, but my boy, that was one of my very favorite guys, Mark Roebuck. And I thought he handled it well in the end. I thought, he was going to do a last joke, but I thought his kind of ripping on Beth was, I thought, just as funny as the last set, because he was really just like, oh, this is great.
He was wearing a belt buckle.
Right.
Was the problem. He had a big belt buckle.
And we're standing in the back going, who's on there? I thought it was the Yellow Wiggle.
Yeah, I thought possibly, it was Oon.
Yeah, you thought it was Oon. It ended up being Andre the Giant.
Yeah. And so we're having this discussion in the back, and Beth is there. So then when she goes and saunters off, Jay and I are standing there, and all of a sudden she sits down, and he makes reference to her walking up and sitting down, which is the reason I wouldn't want to walk up and sit down in the middle of a set in a small room like that.
Of course.
But then that opened the door for her to go, "Who's on your belt buckle?"
I know.
It's like, are you fucking kidding me?
There's the Yellow Wiggle. Greg, if I'm not mistaken.
God.
Greg.
And then even when I walked up
fruit salad, yummy, yummy. You guys aren't familiar with his work?
No.
No, the Wiggles.
Come on, man. The Wiggles?
I know.
How are you familiar with the Wiggles?
I have 3 kids, you son of a bitch.
I don't, unless the Poos gets into the Wiggles.
I know.
Andre the Giant does not look like Greg the Wiggle, but if you're standing about 50 feet away, and you have to take a guess, that was my guess.
I know of the Wiggles, but I don't know them.
I couldn't be too hard on Beth though, because the night before, I had to call her.
Oh, you were hammered with Charlie.
Oh my God, dude!
Where'd you go with Charlie?
Oh yeah, fuck, I forgot.
Charlie
about
LaDuff
that.
and I met up at Ye Old Saloon in Royal Oak.
Oh,
Could he look any less happy to be with you in that picture?
He always
that
does that. Yeah, he always does that. He's too cool for the room.
Yeah.
Yeah. So we went there and got nice and cocked at Ye Old, and then ended up at Dino's in Ferndale, and then ended up back at Charlie's house.
Oh, geez.
Just, with his wife. And by then Beth had joined us, because I was like, I don't think I should drive, probably. And so Beth shows up to pick us up with a table in the back seat of her car.
Oh, boy.
So she's like, well, maybe you could squeeze into the back between the table and I'm like, are you shitting me? So I sat on LaDuff's lap on the way back to his house.
Jeez.
The 3 of us piled into a fucking car, going back to his house. So yeah, I and I was wasted at that point. So
you couldn't get mad.
I couldn't get too upset with her for.
I thought it was fine. Although I will say I do escort her to the bathroom. I guess that one time.
Nice.
And she's just like, I can't walk, and I'm like, why is this my problem? I don't even have a girl.
Roofie her ass, Mike.
Well, no, it's like
I swear. I mean, I've been trying to get a hold of some of that female Viagra that we were talking about, but I'm struggling to find it on the black market. So no, I haven't slipped or anything.
The problem was, Jay, my mind was like, I'm not even gonna get anything out of this later. It's not like I have a girlfriend where I'm gonna at least.
I got some for you. Don't worry about it.
Oh, I'm glad you got
your
dick wet because I walked her to the bathroom. You son of a bitch.
Yeah, I took care of it. So either way, I mean,
no, not either way.
Yeah, I mean, as long as it got taken care of, it got taken care of. So I took one for the team in that situation. You took the first half by taking her to the bathroom. I took care of the rest.
I did that. Remember, I did what I always told you that I'd be okay with. That guy that will, play the emotional bullshit, listen to a Bible on, and then you'll come and close the deal. That's bullshit.
Time for the closer. We need the lefty. Bring in the lefty.
Whatever.
Anyway, dare I say a big show today?
It's a big one.
Got a lot to get to. We'll get to one of my favorite. This is becoming one of my favorite subjects: the head transplants.
Yeah, There's been a lot about that. Yeah, recently.
Yeah, they're making some headway.
Make a clean cut, right? A clean.
It's got to be a sharp blade.
Very, very sharp blade.
Yeah. If you're thinking about trying this with a rusty, dull blade, it probably won't work like you're hoping. You need a really sharp blade. And then remember, there was some magic something.
Yeah, some super glue that they glue the ends of the arteries.
Yeah, there was a magic super glue, which is always good when your doctor's talking about some magic.
He did reference magic.
Yes, he did.
I'm still worried about isn't like the main artery a big deal or like?
Yeah, it is.
The jugular, like
it is. So is your brain and your spinal column.
Right.
Spinal cord.
So you're just cutting that open.
It's very important.
I didn't say they've perfected it. I just said they're making some headway, if you will. No pun intended.
Jesus, he does.
No pun intended. I said no pun intended. What else would you say?
Intended.
Yeah, it was so intended.
It wasn't intended. I swear. What else would you say? They're making some headway. They're making some progress.
They're making progress.
Okay.
I would have said progress.
That one's on. Of course you would have.
So would I. Progress. I love it. I love it. Progress.
We got a new cop shooting, the Triple Crown. We can mention that real quick. Some Jenner stuff. I know everybody loves the Jenner.
Bruce? Oh, wait, never mind.
Caitlyn,
yeah. It's not the usual run-of-the-mill stuff. It's kind of a fascinating twist that is starting to take place regarding Caitlyn Jenner's story. Prison escape is kind of dominating the news today. I don't know if you saw this, but
I did, dude. That's pretty wild. It's like this can really happen.
Yeah, I mean, you would think like in the when it's like, oh, in 1890 there was a jailbreak, and you're like, oh, okay, I could see in 1890 or 1930.
Well, the thing is, the building was old as shit, right?
Yeah, it was.
So they have like all this stuff running behind the cell.
Yeah,
where they have the opportunity to break through the wall and then actually climb down into kind of the sewer system and stuff.
Yeah,
I mean, that would never happen today. They're building something. There would be access to nothing behind a cell.
Yeah, you would think, right?
Yeah.
Is this what I try to say? This is one of those situations where they're knife and spooning through
the wall. It's like a Shawshank, right?
It is
kind of. They use power tools, though, dude.
Yeah, we're talking about two convicted murderers who escaped from a maximum security. This is a max security prison in upstate New York. Sometime they say between Friday night and Saturday morning. Richard Matt and David Sweat. They escaped from the Clinton Correctional Facility in Dannemora, New York, by using power tools, as Jay said, to cut through a steel wall in their cells. Yeah, there they are. The hole in the wall led the men to a series of tunnels, which took them to a manhole outside the prison. They left a note on one of the tunnels. Did you see the note they left?
A manhole, E? What do you think? No, I didn't see the.
Check out this note. Kind of racist.
Hold on, before you move on, look at how similar in height they are. Could they be any more similar in height?
Wow.
It's remarkable, isn't it?
They really are.
It's to the quarter inch. To the eighth of the inch.
Yeah.
Huh. Anyway.
That's amazing. You're right. See if you can find an image, Kadog, of the note they left.
An image.
A manhunt is now underway for these guys. They've got 200 law enforcement hunting for these guys underway in hopes of finding the guys, the first inmates ever to escape the maximum security part of the prison. And as you said, it was built in like 1890, something like that. So yeah, nobody's ever gotten out. They say these are dangerous people. They're not to be fucked with. Head counts are performed every 2 hours throughout the night so guards can visually check to see if they're in their bunks.
Yeah, great job, guys.
Well, what they did what they did in Alcatraz, where they put dummies in their beds and just kind of covered them up and put a hoodie over the head. And so if you're just kind of looking in there, you would never think that someone's going to break out of a maximum security.
What kids do to like their parents, like
what else are you gonna do?
Right,
You gotta put something in the
soccer
bed.
Ball in there,
and you're right. They do this every 2 hours for how many days, how many years upon end, and nothing ever happens.
Right.
Why would you ever
just
think
an arbitrary check?
Yeah.
Like, oh yeah, there's if they even walked by
something in that bed? Sure, okay.
Yeah. So they arranged objects in their beds to make it look like people were sleeping with sweatshirt hoodies on. The pair had cells next to each other and had acquired power tools, which they used to cut through the steel walls. They then walked on a catwalk next to the cell wall, which led to a tunnel. They cut a hole in the tunnel and traveled through a dark passageway until they reached the manhole outside the prison walls, which is in like a neighborhood.
The manhole, you like that?
Yeah.
So how do
He's
you
a big fan of that.
How do you get power tools?
Well, that's what they're trying to figure out.
Oh, you son of a bitch! I get what you're saying. Fuck you.
You just figured out the manhole joke now?
I had to do it twice.
I know you did.
You know what? Honestly, at first I thought you were making fun of me because I'd maybe
it was such an obvious
wrong
reference. How did you miss the first one?
I thought that you were making a joke that I had said that one time wrong because I say so many words wrong.
No, it was totally a reference to you getting banged in the ass.
Yeah. You love that, don't you? You manhole?
No,
yeah,
I
sure do.
No, I don't. To be clear.
So they've got power tools, like from friggin' where and how do you run power tools without anyone knowing?
That's
because in my experience, power tools make noise.
They sure do. They sure do. I guess from what they think is that these guys had this prison, as you mentioned, is so old that they're constantly doing work on it. So these guys in their travels throughout the prison, I suppose, came into contact.
Sawzall. I mean,
exactly.
How do you do that? They're enormous. How do you get that into your cell? And then, moreover, how the fuck do you use it? Where's the power? I mean, they must be battery powered, and they saved some battery and were able to.
Who knows?
I can't imagine you have an outlet in your cell, especially a cell that's built in 1890 or whatever the fuck it was.
I guess though, it's just like if you're in prison, you're in max for probably life. I'm guessing.
Yeah, one is 25 to life. The other's life without chance of parole.
You got to do everything, right? You just sit there all day, every day thinking, is there a way? Is there any little thing I can do?
It's just remarkable that there is a way, though.
You would
know
think
what I mean?
I don't care when the prison was built, you can install cameras. You would think there'd be cameras that would be able to look into rooms.
Well, you'd think you'd have guards with ears, with working ears that could hear power tools going off. I don't know.
I think naively, I figure that too, that you would have just, guys on rotation that are just on the floor, where if you heard coming from one of the rooms and you saw some smoke coming out of it, you would just automatically go.
You got a 50-foot orange extension cord running out of the cell down the hall into the guard station.
Yeah, at 2 a.m.
Yeah, man, I'm going to have to unplug your TV. I got to plug this in. Cool, man. Sure, go ahead.
And think about that window. And just think,
sparks flying out the side.
And the window would be so small to do that if they honestly were doing 2-hour checks.
Yeah.
And I imagine in a max prison, they would actually have some guy. Now maybe he's just got a flashlight on him. And he's just walking by. But even
at the very least, you're gonna hear it. That's the thing. I can see how you could do things with spoons and things like that. But a fucking power tool, and like I said, where does the power come from? If it's battery powered, it's gonna lose charge.
Hey, yo, guard, you got a plug over there? You got an extension cord?
I got to charge my phone.
Yeah.
Or something like that.
I wouldn't think they'd have hooded sweatshirts, just like a linen closet in their room.
Right.
I wouldn't think that you'd have access to what are you wearing today? I would think you're all wearing the same shit every day. You wouldn't just be. I don't know.
We're the jumpsuits with the black and white stripes, right?
Yeah. What about those?
Yeah. There were the pink ones, like in Arizona.
Yeah.
Joe Arpaio's prison. It was elaborate. It was sophisticated. It involved drilling through steel walls, steel pipes. They're unsure of how they got the power tools, but I told you how they think they got them. So this guy, the Matt, what did I say? Richard Matt. Mr. Matt was jailed after he tortured this guy, Bill Rickerson, who was 76 years old, in his home, bound him with duct tape, put him in the trunk of a car. Police found a headless, armless torso in the Niagara River that belonged to Rickerson. Matt then fled to Mexico, where he killed another man in a bar fight. he was jailed and held in prison in Mexico until 07 when he was finally sent back to the United States.
That's the dude on the right there.
That's
He looks like a bad dude.
yeah.
I always wonder, like, some of these people, like, you already
Heads
got
and
away with
arms off.
murder. Like, you got away. You're down in Mexico. Maybe just hold
Chill
off,
out,
get it
man.
Right? Maybe
Yeah.
You
you're
can't stay out of a bar fight that ends in murder.
right.
Yeah.
Like, you're
Okay, maybe a bar fight, but how about one that doesn't end in murder?
because don't you think at that point he's probably okay? They're probably not going to go through all this, trouble to expedite him. There, he's in Mexico in some shitty little bar.
Lay low, my
Just
man.
maybe don't murder another person.
It's
You'll
like
probably-
it's like growing your own weed. Grow it forever. Smoke it yourself. Why'd you have to sell it? You know?
Yeah.
right.
Just do your
Because
thing,
you have to
man.
make the $10 extra.
Yeah.
Do you see anything wrong with the note they left police?
I don't feel like Chinese tonight anyway.
No. Seems,
That's the note they left police.
Have a nice day.
that's awesome, actually. To me.
Yeah, it's a round face with
Oh.
what looks like very slanty eyes, buck teeth. This is right out of the World War II Japanese like caricature cartoon.
sorry, me no speaking Chinese.
Yeah,
This guy looks like he
with
does.
that. What is that hat called?
I don't remember.
The triangle.
Yeah.
I call it the triangle hat.
Trying.
The one you wear in rice patties.
Right. Exactly.
Bucktooth. Yeah.
Yeah. Well, thanks. So I don't know why you would leave him a note like that.
Just a really, isn't
a
it just a
fuck
real
off.
thumb in the nose
Yeah.
at the.
And-
Thumb in the nose. I like that.
I got to be honest. It looks like someone put some work into that. I mean, did they trace a quarter
You're right,
to
dude.
make that face? That
It's
is an extremely round face.
It's
Oh, it's
hard to draw a
perfect.
circle.
It almost looks like it's printed off. So that doesn't look drawn. That's too symmetrical. It's
Yeah.
too perfect.
You're right, dude.
You see how the mouth comes down toward the teeth? There's a little gap between each side of the mouth. That's
Mhm.
That
printed.
does not look. Yeah, because circles are. I mean, circles are hard to draw. The idea of drawing an actual circle and a perfect
no, that's
triangle.
perfect.
He's got great penmanship. Whoever
that?
wrote that.
Yeah, that's off a fucking printer. The penmanship too.
So
you think
were they-
so?
Yeah.
You don't think someone wrote "Have a nice day"?
So were they at the computer lab that day?
I know, dude.
Getting my 10 minutes.
Maybe
of
that's where they
internet-
plugged in their power tools at the computer lab.
Yeah, maybe.
getting their 10 minutes of internet access a day, and they're
That's insane. But what would you, if you had to go through a manhole, to get out of prison? Would you? I mean, is that a fair trade?
yes,
Yeah.
either one.
So you'd take it to that manhole and no problem.
Both versions that you're referring to, you son of a bitch. To get out of lifetime in prison, yes.
Yeah.
I'd go through a manhole and I'd go into a manhole.
You'd come and go in a manhole.
Yes.
Yeah. I could see you coming in a manhole. I
To
could.
get out of, just to be clear, only to get out of a lifelong prison sentence.
Right.
Only.
It's not
yeah,
for
sure.
personal
Right.
pleasure in any capacity.
Sure. Someone on the phone there? Someone calling us, Kadog?
Yeah, this guy says he knows about jail construction.
Oh, cool. Pop him up.
Wow. Could we have a listener that will add to the show?
Wow.
I'd
A
be
relevant
Let's
point.
find out. What is it? Hey, Brian.
Hey, what's up, guys?
Whoa.
Hey,
whoa.
Hey,
buddy.
Brian.
How are you?
Good. Hey, I had a blast last night, by the way.
Cool. So did we. That was a lot of fun, man.
Oh,
Thanks
shit.
for coming out.
Wow. Yeah. Thanks.
By the way, don't forget that Beth went and peed in the men's bathroom.
Did
Well, I was
she?
there.
Yeah, she's done that before.
Yeah.
There was a line in the women's bathroom.
What?
Yeah.
What?
She did that on our
Yeah.
bar night out.
I was not
Oh.
privy to this.
Yeah.
Well,
I mean, I wasn't with her, but I heard from enough
If
listeners.
I'd known, I would have gone to the bathroom.
Yeah, I don't think she saddled up at a urinal.
I was
think she
going to
went
say,
into a
was her
stall.
back wet? I mean,
Yeah, I think she went into a stall. But yeah, what are you gonna do? Girls will be girls, I suppose. But
man,
what-
I wouldn't want to go into a dude's stall at a
No,
bar, though.
God,
My
no.
God.
No.
I usually piss all over those seats.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Poor Beth. Yeah. So what do you got, Brian?
What I was calling about was I'm an electrician, and I do a lot of work at Oakland County Jail. And
Ooh.
there's absolutely, there's absolutely a huge hallway that goes behind every single jail cell.
Really?
So every jail cell is made. It's pre-made in like a concrete cast. And actually, one of my really good friends was building the Wayne County Jail that project that got canceled or whatever.
Oh yeah.
He was showing me all of that. Each cell is made, and then it's actually craned on, and then they're all just kind of like bolted together.
Huh.
But all the plumbing and all the electrical are all ran behind each jail cell. So
Wow.
when I was at Oakland County, I had to go through all the wings of all the pedophiles and stuff like that, and had to go behind their jail cell and do a whole bunch of work behind each one. And it's maybe 2 feet wide. There's not a lot of room. It's pretty nasty because no one really goes back there unless you really have to service something.
But if that's
But
if that's the key to your freedom, you can handle it.
Oh, absolutely. I mean, I had to crawl through there, and they were telling me about some guy escaped from Oakland County last year, and he's like, "Oh, we're in the kid diddler section. If any of these motherfuckers get out, fucking beat them with the screwdriver."
Kid diddler.
But
They had some crazy stories about what they do there. Some guy was making a ruckus or whatever, and they were like, they turned off everyone's TV and cable and their water, and they're like, "Oh, if you want your cable back on, whip this guy's ass." And they just like the whole jail just like went to town on this guy, and they got their TV immediately back on. Like jailhouse
court system, jailhouse justice.
Yeah, exactly. But yeah, absolutely. There's a huge hallway that goes behind all of them.
Yeah, that's surprising to me. I would have thought all jails were built up against like walls of granite.
Yeah,
I don't know.
No.
Wow.
No, it's just like the movies. I mean, there's a hallway back there. So
Wow.
Absolutely.
That's crazy.
So being in the prison like that, where the hell would they have gotten some power tools? I guess maybe you could have left something behind on accident, but that would be total chance, right?
Could you be bought and paid for?
Yeah.
No, like at Oakland County, there's a section where people are nonviolent guys that are actually like, I'm walking down the hallway and there's inmates that are clearly inmates that are fixing stuff, and you're like, it could just be because just nonviolent people.
So they had one of those hook them up,
they're mopping
probably.
the floors, and I mean, there's a whole tool room that is monitored, but I'm sure you could easily sneak something out. I had to be careful wearing a tool belt. They were like, don't let some guy come behind you and grab your screwdriver. Only carry what you need.
Turn it into a shank.
Right.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Oh, we're
That's
glad you
crazy.
made it
But
out,
no,
Brian.
Yeah.
Absolutely, you could get something and get through there. So there's no doubt.
I think
I don't know how
we're
the
still
the guards don't see it.
we're still trying to figure out, like, even if you could get all that, because we've heard you can get anything in jail. How would you power them on without people hearing you? And cut through walls, like that's the part that's like, wow, how would you pull that off? But obviously, if your intention is to get out, who cares? And if you can get yourself a couple hours,
I suppose you could muffle anything with bed sheets and stuff. I know not like completely, but you can muffle it pretty well probably if you really work on it.
Yeah.
And honestly, I didn't really have an escort the entire time because I was there so much that I could have just started handing out tools, and no one would have known.
That's
it was
awesome.
kind of funny. They're
Wow.
like, yeah, well, you're good. We'll be back in like an hour to check on you.
Wow. Well, thanks for the call, Brian. We appreciate it, man. Thanks for coming out last night too.
Absolutely.
All right, buddy. We'll talk to you soon.
Yeah. Bye.
It may have been the best call we ever had.
Yeah. Informative.
I don't know. I like the chick with the oversized bean.
Oh,
I thought that was a
wow,
good
that's
call.
a good point.
Yeah, that
That's
was a good
point.
call.
The
Yeah.
Clitty that might have been a dick. We didn't know.
Although he
he didn't know.
The
Actually,
guy that was talking about the chick that he was
should be in
banging.
the astronom file right now. That guy's astronom file. He ought to be looking
Well,
into
that's
that
the only
and let us
thing.
know what happened.
Yeah,
well,
he never followed
remember,
up.
she was a surgeon
Yeah,
too. Like,
so he
she
was
had a lot
deeply
going for her.
conflicted.
Yeah.
Deeply conflicted.
See-
I sent him back in.
Yeah. I
For
think.
partially because of that.
Yeah.
Like, look, man, you might have a good thing going here.
Yeah. Go for it. Stay in
And
there.
that's the only problem, Jay. I think it would be better, but he never followed up. So now we're just left in the dark on whatever
Yeah.
happened to this
Just
chick.
speculation, conjecture. That's
Yeah.
all we're left with.
Exactly. If he still listens to us,
Maybe that's what happened. Maybe he doesn't like the show anymore.
yeah, he found a new show. He's been telling them all about this chick
Right.
for weeks now. He's been calling some other show.
We're just sitting here going, whatever happened?
People are going to call up. Oh, yeah, he's been on 95.5 like every day this week talking all about her giant bean. And
Giving
yeah,
updates.
he's still in there. It's great. It's a great story. You guys, you should follow it. Tune into Mojo in the morning and follow along. It's a great storyline.
Whoa, I know.
Jack and the Bean.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was big. It was big, and he wasn't sure what to do. So, speaking of that, Zach Ford.
Nice one.
What?
Zach
Wow, your
Ford-
segs are getting so
yeah,
strong, Jay.
There's
Very good. Speaking of giant
These are good
beans,
for demos. Good for air checks.
Zot Ford still needs your trade-in, so we've had to extend this offer. For a limited time, Zot Ford is conducting a special key for key event. During said event, you can exchange your current vehicle for a brand new 2015 Ford without spending a dime out of your pocket. Also, we may be able to match or lower your monthly payments. Zot Ford is authorized to assist you in terminating the remainder of your loan or lease, no matter what you owe. You give us the keys to your current vehicle, and we'll give you the keys to a brand new 2015 Ford. Plus, as an added bonus, Zotford will make your first month's payment up to $500. You can only do this at Zotford, and you can only do it during the month of June. Oh, before you move on, we got to mention the Amazon link.
Yes,
please, everybody, don't forget to use our Amazon link. You can find it on the homepage. Just go ahead and hit it. It'll take you into Amazon. You can shop as you normally do. What are you laughing at, Mike?
I'm laughing at Kadog back here.
Son of a bitch.
We were asking about the conical hat, which is the hat that the Vietnamese would wear
in a rice patty.
In a rice patty. And Kadog is watching a video on how to make a Chinese hat.
Dude,
of course Kadog is.
Is it from How It's Made?
He's looking at it going, I could do that.
Yeah, of course he's thinking, I think I could do this.
Just cut a circle. Yeah. And then cut a slit in it.
Is this from the cable show?
Sorry,
that
not to be
show
racist.
How It's Made, or is it just literally on YouTube?
It's just literally on YouTube.
Because that show is awesome. I don't know if you ever watch that show, but
this looks kind of chintzy compared to that show.
So to finish my thought on the Amazon link,
yeah,
it's a great way to donate to the show. You'll shop just as you normally do. They won't charge you anymore, and we'll get a small kickback. So please use it. You'll find a Canadian link as well under the Help Out the Show tab on our website. So it's really, really helpful. Please continue to use that.
Very good. We got a white cop. There's a couple stories today where there's at least some sprinkling of Officer Walters in the stories, which is good to see. I got to be honest with you.
It's a theme, sort of a theme. You can see that.
A little bit. Yeah. Well, this guy, cop in Dallas-Fort Worth area, has been suspended after video footage emerged showing him wrestle a chick wearing a bikini, down to the ground and then point his gun at a group of unarmed teenagers. The incident happened after the McKinney Police Department received several calls Friday night about a disturbance near a community pool. Cell phone footage shows one officer arrive at the scene and start overreacting in a manner that does little to diffuse the situation. In fact, my favorite part of this video is seeing this cop when it first looks like shit's gonna go down and he's fucking ready to go. This guy is ready to go, and he starts running. I don't know if he trips, but they call it a dramatic or a theatrical move, and all of a sudden he rolls and pops to his feet.
Does a cop roll?
Yeah.
Sweet, man.
I don't know if you can see it at the beginning of this video, but go ahead and play it, Kadog. It happened way before that. It was in the 7-minute video. Make it bigger if you can. Here he comes. Watch right here.
Oh shit!
That was awesome. That was really awesome.
That was right on TV.
Yeah.
He has a flashlight.
Cop dropped his flashlight.
Oh shit! Oh shit! This nigga
Filmed in landscape though. Give him credit.
Yeah.
No. Hey, let me give it to him. I want to give it to him.
I want to give it to him.
No. It wasn't his. It wasn't his. It was his.
I'm saying, don't take off running when the cops get here. What's up, man? Oh, thank you.
It was
some
that
guy.
One of these.
Okay, guys, I appreciate it.
None of them were involved.
Okay, that's what I'm saying.
It was this guy's. It was that guy's.
Pause it for a second, Kadog.
Get on the ground. I told you to stay. Your ass is down on the ground.
And there's Officer Walters
Yeah,
showing up
boy.
on the scene.
The other guy's clearly kind of he's whatever.
Other guy's got it under control. He's thanking the kids for grabbing his flashlight.
Yeah.
Then Walters comes along.
Yeah. The other cops are totally cool. And like other units are called to the scene, and Officer Walters is just manhandling.
Is this the same guy who did the role?
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
Sweet.
Yeah, that's the guy that did the role. At about the 3-minute mark, the out-of-control officer can be seen wrestling a young woman in a 2-piece bathing suit to the ground. And then other people to jump in like, that's my cousin and shit. They start crowding around. That's when he pulls his gun out. The other cops actually come up and are like, whoa, dude. And he reholsters it. You know, but it looked like he wanted to kind of go out. Yeah, he thought some shit was going down. But the whole time he's like, on your fucking knees! You get your ass! He's like screaming at people. Fuck this. Get your ass. So, I mean, I can respect his tactics. I really could. I mean, you got to control the situation, let them know who's boss. I mean, that's how these things do. You brandish your weapon. If I'm just involved in a routine traffic stop, I'm tapping on windshields with my gun. Let them know who's in charge, right? You want to establish that, control the situation early in the stop. That's how you prevent escalating things. You know, a little tap on the windshield with your gun, just like, yeah, don't think you're going to get cute here, son. That's how you do it. Yeah, let's watch a little more, officer.
I want to see this.
There he goes again.
Oh, fuck, dude.
Get your ass out of here. I didn't do anything.
Chick's going, calm down.
I didn't even do anything. I wasn't even angry.
Handcuffing kids.
And this looks to be a pretty decent suburban area, right? I mean,
Oh, yeah.
From what I can tell, it's
A little community pool area.
Sir, we just came for a birthday party. Please. We'll figure it out now in a minute. Please, sir.
Oh, Jesus.
Look at him looking around. Who can I take down next?
he's just walking around.
Hard ass.
Yeah.
That's the way you got to do this. This is the way you're supposed to behave.
Dude, he's probably got a fucking erection right now. I'm not, you know.
Hell yeah, he does. As he should.
He's jacked up, man. You saw that roll.
Yeah, he's juiced up.
Strutting around. He's pointing at people with what? His flashlight?
Yeah, he's got his baton or his flashlight out. Not the first weapon of choice.
What color was it?
It's navy blue.
I know where it is.
Yeah, the kid's like, I lost my book bag. And the guy's like, on your knees, you son of a bitch. I don't care about your book bag.
But I have a test tomorrow.
You fucking run around here with 30 pounds of goddamn gear on the sun because you want to screw around out here?
Dude, is that you?
Yeah. Anybody opens their mouth is going to jail.
This is Officer Walter.
Yeah.
You're leaving now. You are leaving now.
You're right, Jay. Look at the houses around. I mean, not that it means that there can't be a disturbance, but I mean,
Yeah.
Heads up. It's about to get good.
Get your ass going. Keep running your mouth.
She's dispersing the crowd
Yeah.
effectively.
Uh-oh. This girl lipped off to Officer Walters. Bad move, honey.
She's got it. He has a bikini-clad girl.
By the hair. Now the crowd's coming around. Grab your gun. Textbook.
Oh, dude.
And they're like, whoa. Hey, bro.
Yeah,
Hey, bro.
two other cops who happen to be about a foot taller than him.
Yeah.
that's the
I'm not going to say anything about Napoleon or anything, but oh my gosh!
On your face! Now! Holy shit!
This
Like,
girl is in a bikini. She is.
She's kind of cute, too.
I was gonna say.
Sick bod.
I was
She's got
gonna
a sick
say.
body.
She is presenting no threat to
Yeah.
Officer Walter.
In your view. Back up! I will end all of you!
This is absurd. Next to the stamped concrete sidewalk. I mean, we're not talking about like downtown Baltimore here.
No.
This is-
No, I didn't. Get your butts out of here.
Yeah.
He pulled out his gun on her.
He should open fire.
Get out of here or you're going too.
What is wrong with this guy?
Yeah, he's my hero. This is police work at its finest.
He is literally one on like 20.
Yeah.
The other cops are literally just kind of like,
This little girl's like crying in her bikini. He's got his knees planted in her back.
Face in the grass.
Stop crying! Don't move! I will end you! Stop crying! I will give you something to cry about!
So, what was the cause of the disturbance on at the outside?
There was a pool party going on, and some kids weren't invited that showed up and wanted to hang out at the pool.
oh.
Ooh, okay.
So yeah, you roll up hard.
Is
You
there
show
any-
them who's boss.
Is there any way we could go to the
Time for
beginning
this.
and see the roll one more time?
Hold on, we
or-
got to see the end because I think he
sorry.
gives these kids a stern talking
Oh,
to.
okay.
All right, he's taking the knee off her back. At least.
Don't move!
And then there's just 5 feet away, 2 chicks in bikinis like standing
Yeah.
there with towels.
Yeah.
Like, can you let our friend up now?
No.
What?
People are pointing out that the only ones he went after were the black kids. There are plenty of white kids around that he didn't go after. So they're trying to make this a race thing. And then my partners went and got this guy who took off running, and he's coming back with a bloody mouth.
Adrian. Hey, I'm gonna tell you one more time. Get your ass out of here.
Get your ass out of here. Yeah, this is textbook.
You're going to.
Going for
God.
what? No, I don't just understand what the charge would be.
It's not for you to worry about.
Interfering with an officer. E.
Right.
Come on.
Looks like he's got a couple sergeant stripes there too. I think this dude's been on the force for a long time, 20 plus years. Yeah. There he comes. This is community policing here.
I personally told you to get on the ground and stay. And what did you do when I walked away? So you just did what everybody else did. And what everybody else did was illegal. You did it.
That's right.
And you got caught.
Yep.
They didn't. Now you're sitting here paying for it.
Yep.
I don't have a problem. That's not my problem. I asked y'all to sit. You became a part of the mob. It could have been the guys that were doing right, and you weren't. So now you're sitting here in trouble. You're going to sit here until we get this figured out.
That's right. Community policing. Get in touch with the young folks.
What a fucking idiot.
Yeah. So anyway, you want to see the roll one
I was
more
just gonna
time?
say, could I just see the roll?
Yeah, seriously.
Yeah, that's pretty sweet.
Move. Here he goes. What the?
That was so not necessary. That's out of like MacGruber or something.
Yeah,
you
or
know
some
what I mean?
Saturday Night Live skit, right?
Are you
It
sure he
did- it
didn't
did.
trip? I think he trips.
He
But
did.
He
but-
sticks it. He sticks it. Look at that chick. Move!
Here he comes.
Dude, he's so just tripped and then tried to make it look like it was no big deal. Like, yeah, I meant to do that.
Here he comes.
Held his composure.
I love the sound effect as he runs by.
If you look at the sidewalk, even like he knocked a little grass kind of on
Listen
it.
to all his shit bouncing up and down. I love that.
Move! I will end you! I will end you! Move! Textbook move.
Dude, his legs were just.
He doesn't know bullets could be coming his way.
He's
He's
got
got
a freaking TJ Hooker roll, man.
Yeah.
His legs were moving too fast for like, you know what I mean? Like he was just so gun ho that his.
This is
Gung-ho.
part of community policing. You get your wits about you. You pull a maneuver like that. Show him who's boss.
It's like out of,
Off and running.
dude, that is out of MacGruber, dude. or
There's
something
different
like-
rules of thought on this. Some police officers don't like to use that move. It's kind of like sliding head first into first base.
What
And
benefit
honestly,
did that offer?
It looks like Jim Carrey is playing a cop there
Yeah,
or something.
Ace Ventura.
And he's rolls. It's just
What
absurd.
benefit did that offer, Mike? Exactly.
Well, you know, if bullets were whizzing, it's harder to hit a moving target. He's not going to let the guy line him up. So you do maneuvers like that in the process and keeps you out of harm's way. I mean, it's make sure you go home.
So
at the
what's
end
the
of the
outcome here, man? Is he getting it?
Day. Yeah, he's been suspended.
Yeah.
I don't get it either. So the officers, let's see, fight between a mom and a girl broke out when the cops showed up. Everyone ran, including the people who didn't do anything. Every perp says that. So the cops just started putting everyone on the ground and in handcuffs for no reason. This is the original video that you just watched. This was the caption that went with it.
Mm-hmm.
Officials also said the officer's conduct had raised concerns. The incident appears to highlight an excessive use of force, especially by police when dealing with African Americans. Everyone in the video that the officer is abusive or physical toward is black, while the child filming the incident, who is white, is never asked to sit down and stop what he is doing.
It's true. He does kind of saunter
Open and
back
shut
and forth.
case. Yeah, racist police, of course. Yeah, I don't know. Do you see any ground in there where you can go, yeah, you know, what are you going to do? I mean, outside of Officer Walters, obviously, but does that seem like over-policing to you?
Oh, yeah. Yeah, it did.
Yeah.
It did. I got to believe there's a better way to do that. Come upon a scene of, I don't know, 16, 17-year-old kids with towels and bikinis and shit. Doesn't look like it's presenting a real threat. But I'm not there. I don't know.
Yeah, it doesn't seem like it goes with the narrative of you're never supposed to draw your weapon. Just to give you guys a little background in the
here
way
we go.
policing's done. You're never supposed to draw your weapon unless you are absolutely going to use it. I mean, you want to fucking unload that thing.
That
If
was
you draw it,
crazy where he started to pull that out. Or he did pull it out.
I mean, dude, his buddies were like, oh.
Yeah, I mean that you
They
saw those
came
other-
up and-
right.
Even they were like, dude, yeah, not good. You got a girl in a bikini. Where's she hiding that gun that's a threat to you? I think honestly, most cops would look at this video and cringe and go, and that's the difference between being a pro and not being a pro, being able to keep your shit in check when, the adrenaline starts pumping, because in his mind, I guarantee you, he thinks he's looking at that scene and going, okay, it's getting crazy here.
Oh my God, he did. He pulled his gun.
I can't believe that one. I'm being serious. I know sometimes you say I can't believe it, and that's like everyone says it. But
all right, here we go. So like 3 guys come at him.
Yeah,
it's out, dude. It's so. I mean, what's he gonna do? Who is? What if he had?
Unfortunately,
he still got it out. It's still out.
Unfortunately, this is another one of those scenarios, though, that if that had gone even worse than it did, and say he shoots a kid there, you pull your gun, he might, if he would go with the same, I felt threatened. All of a sudden there's a mob mentality coming at me and I felt threatened.
Yeah.
And you could see that happening. And then you get, this would have exploded.
Oh, dude.
If he had shot that kid, but at the same time, this is one of those teachable moments, if you will, where it's like, you know what? Better to let the cop do what he's doing to someone. What are you possibly going to offer this scenario, by walking up and screaming in a cop's face when he's trying to apprehend someone?
I think it's so absurd, though. Like, these guys are like, are you kidding? They're kind of coming at him like, what the fuck? And I get it. You never want to do that, but I could almost see like reacting like that if you had a young girlfriend who's being tossed to the ground by a fucking cop, head pushed into the ground.
Yeah.
You could almost see like running towards it and going, what the fuck is going on? And then this douche turns around and
immediately goes for his
gun. It's not good, Mike.
It's not good. I think my point is we know the potential outcomes when dealing with a cop in a stressful situation. Whether you believe it's stressful, it's easy to watch from a monitor and declare. Now I'm even joking about it. And, oh yeah, Officer Walters going Rambo here like he's in the military. He totally looks out of control, but all the more reason to go, all right, might want to give that cop a little bit of space. He doesn't look like he's fucking around right now.
But it's his manner that jacked it up 20 other levels.
Sure.
If he would have acted like a pro,
like
never would have happened.
The other one earlier when he brings his flashlight black or whatever, and he's just like, okay, he kind of says stay back, but thank you, but
this guy escalated the whole thing.
Yeah, no doubt about it. He whipped that group up. And
he was running around in a circle just yelling at people.
Yeah. It's,
he cop rolled. He started the whole thing off with a friggin' cop roll.
Move! And by the way, Jay, you didn't want to say it, but I mean, like the other 2 cops are about a foot taller than him.
Yeah, it's something Napoleonic.
Maybe they're 7 foot tall.
Yeah, maybe. That could be.
You don't know. He looks a bit Napoleonish, which,
I gotta be, and I know it's easy because now we're watching this, so it's easy to make judgments our own self. But when you say that idea of Napoleon, you look at him, not trying to be, he looks like a kind of guy to me that would have a complex.
That absolutely exists.
Yeah, oh yeah.
Right, Mike? You can attest to that?
I think we've all seen short people. Dude, I've never blown off a fucking fuse at anybody. Are you kidding me?
Fucking dude.
But you could see giving a guy a badge and a gun and thinking you're harder than, Yeah,
that's a better image of it right there.
And
clear.
And what I was trying to find earlier, that's a taser right in front of it.
So
you
he
see that?
goes for the gun and not the taser.
Yeah, you're right.
Yeah, that's what you do. That's textbook. You go for the gun if the gun doesn't take him down, or once he's on the ground, and once you've got him down with the gun, then you unload the taser on him. That's the way I always believed.
Pretty bad, dude.
Yeah.
I hope a full investigation is underway.
Yeah, well, he's been suspended, and now that this video has gone viral, this video is everywhere. So, yeah, I guarantee you, this dude's probably he could have served his last day on the beat, which is sad. It's too bad. 20-some year career. Probably his first incident.
Pretty bad fuck up on video. Yeah, it probably was.
It looks like he's never done this before. It was really out of character.
Yeah,
I guarantee people are going to come forward going, oh, that dude.
Yeah,
we've run into that dude before.
Don't you think it's it's probably the first time he ever overreacted and went to the gun. I'm sure he's never done that before, even though it looked pretty comfortable.
Yeah, what is that?
I found some facts about him, and one of them is he teaches a self-defense class.
That's right.
Look at this shirt.
Oh, it's
little figures of people fighting,
doing self-defense.
Yeah.
So this guy takes his job way too serious.
Yeah, Eric Casebolt, is that his name?
That's correct.
Nice,
Eric.
Yep. Anyway, so yeah, we'll see what happens with him. Probably won't be good, unfortunately. What's our clock look like, Kadog? Any idea? Feels like we've been going for a while. Yeah. Why don't we take a quick break and we'll come back. We haven't hit a whole lot of stories, but we'll do some on the Jenner thing and lots of other stuff. We got some other cops pulling an Officer Walters. I got to be honest with you. This one's pretty bad. We'll get into that and more next.
The Detroit Cast continues after this short break.
Hey there, it's Steve Gabarra, the general manager at Zott Ford in Holly. Right now, lease the all-new 2015 Ford F-150 Super Cab XLT 4x4 for only $286 a month. Friends, this flagship of trucks is loaded with an EcoBoost engine, satellite radio, rear view camera, remote start, chrome package, trailer tow package, plus about a million more bells and whistles. We have tons of the new 2015 F-150 in stock, and you can lease it for as low as $286 per month from Zott Ford at I-75 and exit 98. More importantly, I want to say thank you to all the TDC listeners that have already leased or bought a new vehicle from Zott Ford. Thank you. You guys are the best. Folks, check out our filthy deals and massive inventory at ZottFord.com. Get there.
cast continues now, bitches. Here's Mike and Jay.
Welcome back to the Detroit Cast on a Monday. Mike and Jay. It was funny during the break. He informed me that TCG was at the event, which we knew about. Kennedy was there as well, Matt Kennedy.
Okay.
So was Chris McQueen. Yeah, I heard people were asking, "Where's Chris? Chris McQueen."
Yeah, he was.
And I didn't realize
there.
McQueen was there. I thought I saw him, but then I was thinking it was Kennedy.
Yeah, maybe he was there. Unfortunately, I didn't get to really talk to him after I saw him at the beginning, and it got so crazy with everybody that was there, obviously, and trying to say hi to everybody. So
something happened between E and Chris McQueen, didn't it?
And who?
Yeah, Chris McQueen.
Oh, okay. I know
something happened. I can tell. Look at him.
Not on my
He's
end.
uncomfortable. He's uncomfortable.
Oh, not on my end. That means something happened on Chris McQueen's end.
No, I mean not. He still came out. He's came out to see comedy.
No, there's something wrong.
Yeah, he came out. Waiting on you now to come out, or what? Like,
shut the hell up.
Did he come at you?
No, he did not.
He came at you, didn't he?
TCG came at you. I saw him do it.
TCG came after our female listeners.
Yeah, he did. Good for him. Anyway, yeah, I just wanted to mention that for the people that were like, "Where's Chris? Chris McQueen." He was there. So
he was there. If you had us, if you spot
him. Residents in certain neighborhoods around this country are having debates about changing their street signs.
Okay.
From Bruce Jenner Lane.
Why are there even?
No, the answer is no. Don't change. Okay, change it to something other than Jenner.
Wait a minute. Yes. Why is there even Bruce Jenner lanes?
Well, they've got different neighborhoods around the country that are, some are named after presidents, some are named after Olympic athletes.
I get
Olympic champions.
I forgot. Sometimes I forget in all this that he was an Olympic athlete. I just think of him as, why would they name a guy associated with the Kardashians?
Oh my God. Yeah, you think of him as Kris Kardashian's husband?
Well, I'm just, you know what I'm saying? You gotta forget that was so long ago. I mean,
so they're debating now whether they should change the name to Caitlyn Jenner
at the corner of Vista del Sol and Bruce Jenner Lane.
Those living on Bruce Jenner Lane and that's in Austin, Texas, and other cities face questions about whether their road should be renamed.
All right, what a pain in the ass that would be to change your address on everything.
Yeah,
right. Your license, your
no. How about no? We don't change it.
Everything, not to mention GPS coordinates. Like there's a whole.
Just leave it.
You need whole neighborhoods, or at least blocks. You need like if a block is going to do something like that, you need like at least half the block to agree to even get it up for consideration. So,
everything that you'd have to change, man.
Yeah.
Your insurance, your
billing,
license, your
GPS.
Pain in the ass. It's stupid.
Just because he decided.
And the fact is, Bruce Jenner is the reason that name is named what it is. Caitlyn Jenner didn't win shit.
Yeah, Caitlyn hasn't done nothing.
Yeah. Let Caitlyn win a decathlon, and then you can name shit after Caitlyn Jenner. Until then.
All she done is she's tucked a boner on the cover of Vanity Fair.
Yeah, throwing a nice dress.
Yeah, Caitlyn hasn't won an Olympic gold medal.
Exactly.
Bruce Jenner did. I guess is Bruce Jenner dead, by the way, then? Is that the deal?
Yeah, I don't know how that goes. This is new territory.
It's all very confusing.
It is confusing, but this is the best part. There's a hidden thing in this story. Feminists, we all love feminists, right?
Yep.
Who have an agenda to push everywhere. And feminists
they're confused as to what to do.
Yeah, they don't know what to do with the Caitlyn Jenner stories and stories like it because
it's very liberal and they love what's liberal. But
it comes with its own problems. And I read a great article. I mean, you wouldn't find it a great article, but a comical article. I've found it utterly hilarious seeing
trying to do this double talk, maybe like
Eleanor Burkett, who wrote, I think it's in the New York Times, and did this big story about it. And she's been fighting for women's rights and feminism for 60 years or something. And she's torn on this whole Caitlyn Jenner thing, which is awesome. Do women have and men have different brains? Back when Lawrence H. Summers was president of Harvard and suggested they did, the reaction was swift and merciless. They branded him a sexist. But when Bruce Jenner said much the same thing in April, he was lionized for his bravery, even his progressivism. My brain is much more female than it is male, he said, explaining that he knew that he was transgender. That was the prelude to a new photo spread and interview in Vanity Fair that offered us a glimpse into Caitlyn's idea of a woman. A cleavage-boosting corset, sultry poses, thick mascara, and the prospect of regular girls' nights of banter about hair and makeup.
Speaking of hair and makeup, We're looking at an image of the author, correct?
Eleanor Burkett.
Is
She's
her
a
hair
looker.
the exact color of an orangutan?
It sure is.
Can we ever look at an image of a female that looks like a female too?
Yeah, that's a tough one.
We do get a lot of manly looking chicks up on that board,
Like,
don't we?
I just feel like I look up at these girls all well.
So anyway, she goes on to say like
I guess I'm off.
Well, that's a little oranger orangutan than we're used to seeing. I think if
Yeah,
you tried, you could find an orangutan.
Yeah,
that matches her
my
color
mistake. My mistake.
No, I think Kadog just found a shitty orange orangutan. I think you're closer than you think. So she goes on to say how, the Vanity Fair spread Obama coming out and praising her courage, ESPN giving her the Arthur Ashe Award, all that stuff. And so she's like, well, a part of me winced.
That's better.
Look at those
The
Proops.
infant orangutan.
You need to go wash your hands, Proops. They're filthy.
Look at those guys.
Look at those filthy Proops. So a part of her winced. I have fought for many of my 68 years against efforts to put women, our brains, our hearts, our bodies, even our moods, into tidy boxes to reduce us to stereotypes. Suddenly, I find that many of the people I think of as being on my team, people who proudly call themselves progressive, are buying into the notion that minor differences in male and female brains lead to major forks in the road and that some of the gendered destiny is encoded in us. That's the kind of nonsense that was used to repress women for centuries. But the desire to support people like Ms. Jenner and their journey has strangely and unwittingly brought it back. People who haven't lived their whole lives as women shouldn't get to define us. That's something men have been doing for much too long. And as much as I recognize and endorse the right of men to throw off the mantle of maleness, they cannot stake their claim to dignity as transgender people by trampling on mine as a woman.
Interesting.
People who haven't lived their whole lives as women shouldn't get to define us. Their truth is not my truth. Their female identities are not my female identity. They haven't traveled through the world as a woman and been shaped by all that this entails. They haven't suffered through business meetings with men talking to their breasts or woken up.
As if anyone's talked to that chick's breast.
Yeah, right.
Yeah, give me a break, lady.
Like, not in the last 45 years.
Yeah, maybe an orangutan would, but not any man would. Or woken up after sex, terrified they'd forgotten to take their birth control pills the day after. They haven't had to cope with the onset of their periods in the middle of a crowded subway.
Come on, dude.
She's talking about someone else, right?
Right. Like she's just.
I mean, the period
women
thing,
in
okay,
general,
but,
yeah.
This is, but no, she says this is her.
That's
truth.
her story. That's her narrative.
When is the? You're right. Just like when was the last time someone talked to her breast? When was the last time she had sex and woke up the next day worrying about her birth control pills?
Right.
When's the last time she had sex?
I'm struck by the variance in orangutan fur color.
Yeah. It's. I told you it was closer than Kadog originally.
It's interesting
show.
to see the variance between the baby Proops and the adult Proops.
Proops.
So I think she's somewhat in between those.
She's
two.
a middle-aged orangutan.
Yeah.
Yeah. She goes on to say those brains are shaped by experience, cultural and otherwise. You can't pick up a brain and say that's a girl's brain, that's a boy's brain. The difference between male and female brains are caused by the drip, drip, drip of the gendered environment. The drip, drip, drip of Ms. Jenner's experience include a hefty dose of male privilege few women could possibly imagine. While young Bruiser, as Bruce Jenner was called as a child.
Hold on, dude. Look at that adult orangutan hair versus her hair. It's exact.
Is that
It's
her?
exact.
Yeah.
Kadog, that's exact, dude. Even the roots, the black roots underneath.
Yeah.
Holy
She's going
shit.
for an orangutan look.
Yeah.
It's working well for her.
Wow. She's part simian.
And maybe that's her point. Like with orangutans, you can't really tell the male from female at first glance.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe that's what she's going
Sort
for.
of androgynous.
Mm-hmm. So she says that Jenner hasn't had to experience those things. He was, as Bruce was called as a child, Bruiser, he was being cheered on towards a university athletic scholarship. Few female athletes could dare hope for such largesse since universities offered little funding for women's sports. When Jenner looked for a job to support himself during training for the Olympics, he didn't have to turn to the meager help wanted female ads in the papers. He could get by on $9,000 he earned annually, unlike young women whose median pay was little more than half that of men. Tall and strong, he never had to figure out how to walk streets safely at night. Those are realities that shape women's brains. By defining womanhood the way he did to Ms. Sawyer, Mr. Jenner, and the many advocates for transgender rights who take a similar tack ignore those realities. In the process, they undermine almost a half century of hard-fought arguments, and the very definition of female is a social construct that has subordinated us. and they undercut our efforts to change the circumstances we grew up with. The "I was born with the wrong body" rhetoric favored by other trans people doesn't work any better and is just as offensive, reducing us to our collective breasts and vagines. Imagine the reaction if a young white man suddenly declared that he was trapped in the wrong body, and after using chemicals to change his skin pigmentation and crocheting his hair into twists, expected to be embraced by the black community. Very valid point. Many women I know speak privately about how insulting we find the language trans activists use to explain themselves. After Mr. Jenner talked about his brain, one friend called it an outrage and asked, is he saying that he's bad at math, weeps during bad movies, and is hardwired for empathy? After the release of the photos in Vanity Fair of Ms. Jenner, Susan Ager, Michigan journalist, wrote, "I fully support Caitlyn, but I wish she hadn't chosen to come out as a sex babe. But as the movement becomes mainstream," and this is where this article gets hilarious to me, "as the movement became mainstream, it's growing harder to avoid asking pointed questions about the frequent attacks by some trans leaders on women's rights to defend ourselves and discourse and our bodies. After all, the trans movement isn't simply echoing African Americans, Chicanos, gays, or women by demanding an end to the violence and discrimination and to be treated with a full measure of respect. It's demanding that women reconceptualize ourselves." In January 2014, the actress Martha Plimpton, an abortion rights activist or advocate, sent out a tweet about the benefit for Texas abortion funding called "A Night of 1,000 Vagines." Suddenly, she was swamped by criticism for using the word vagine. Given a constant genital policing, you can't expect trans folks to feel included by an event title focused on policed binary genitalia.
What the hell, dude?
Jesus Christ.
When Ms. Plimpton explained that she would continue to say vagine, and why shouldn't she, given that without a vagine, there is no pregnancy or an abortion, her feed overflowed with indignation. "So you're really committed to doubling down on using that term that you've been told by many that many times is exclusionary and harmful." Ms. Plimpton became to use the new trans insult, a TERF, which stands for Trans Exclusionary Radical Feminist. She's a TERF. In January, Project Theater at Mount Holyoke College, liberal arts college for women, canceled the performance of the Vagine monologues.
Good
Nice.
dog doing his Photoshop.
Yeah. The Vagine monologues, they canceled it because it offered an extremely narrow perspective on what it means to be a woman.
Okay.
Being a man wanting to be a woman doesn't make you a woman. It's mainly a biology issue, but it's also a social issue. The word vagine is exclusionary and offers us an extremely narrow perspective on womanhood. So the 3.5 billion of us who have vagines, along with the trans people who want them, should describe ours with the politically correct terminology trans activists are pushing on us now: front hole or internal genitalia.
Front hole.
Front hole.
Huh.
I like that. Can we start calling them front holes? I mean, we don't want to be inclusionary to all.
Yeah.
So that doesn't seem insulting to ask a woman how her front hole's doing. How's your front hole? I'm using front hole from now on.
That's awesome.
Front hole.
You bang her in the front hole, guys? Yeah, I did.
Even the word woman.
You bang it in the front hole.
Oh, sorry,
That's
you're
what
right.
needs to be asked, not her.
Oh, I
She's
apologize.
insulting,
My
you son
God.
of a bitch.
Deeply apologize
Jesus
for that.
Fuck. I apologize sincerely and deeply.
Even the word woman has come under assault by some of the very people who claim the right to be considered women.
Jesus fuck, what is going on?
Hashtag Stand With Texas Women, popularized after Wendy Davis, then a state senator, attempted to filibuster the Texas legislature to prevent the passage of a draconian anti-abortion law, and the hashtag We Trust Women are also under attack since they too are exclusionary. Abortion rights and reproductive justice is not a woman's issue, wrote Emmett Stauffer. It is a uterus owner's issue.
Oh, dude.
What?
He's referring to the possibility, Jay, hear him out,
okay,
that a woman who is taking hormones or undergoing surgery to become a man, or who does not identify as a woman, can still have a uterus, become pregnant, and need an abortion.
Wow, dude.
So yeah, in your face. He's got a point. Stouffer's got a point. Abortion rights groups are under pressure to modify their mission statements to omit the word woman. Those who have given in, like the New York Abortion Access Fund, now offer their services to, quote, people and to callers. Fund Texas women.
They can't, like Bruce Jenner can't go get an abortion.
No, but their argument is if a chick is transing into a man,
he could
technically still get knocked up and have a baby inside of his front hole and need to abort it.
My God.
Yeah.
My God, man.
Yeah, you know, what are you going to do? Inclusive to all.
Why don't we just call them male, female, and mentally ill? The third party.
I like
Sorry,
that.
did I say that? I mean, that trannies are mentally ill? Oh, I don't know.
Crazy. I don't think you're going to get much fight out of this room. No offense. So they cover this Fund Texas Women, which covers the travel and hotel expenses of abortion seekers who don't have access to a nearby clinic. They recently changed their name to Fund Texas Choice. With a name like Fund Texas Women, we were publicly excluding trans people who needed to get an abortion but were not women.
Oh my God.
I swear to God, I'm like looking at the bottom of this, like, is this an Onion article? Is this an Onion article? Women's colleges are contorting themselves into knots to accommodate female students who consider themselves men, but usually not men who are living as women. Now these institutions, whose core mission is to cultivate female leaders, have given student government and dorm presidents who identify as male. The struggle to move beyond such stereotypes is far from over, and trans activists could be women's natural allies moving forward. So long as humans produce X and Y chromosomes that lead to the development of penises and front holes, almost all of us will be assigned genders at birth. But what we do with those genders, the roles we assign ourselves and each other based on them, is almost entirely mutable.
Nature's wrong, man.
Yeah. Nature's not usually wrong. It's weird.
It's up to you.
It's weird. Who knew that nature would get something so simple like this wrong? It's crazy.
So entirely wrong.
Yeah. Who knew? Took us a while to figure it out, but by God, we did. Bruce told Ms. Sawyer that he looked forward to what he looked forward to most in his transition was the chance to wear nail polish until it chips off. I want that for Bruce. Now Caitlin too, but I also wanted to remember nail polish does not a woman make.
Mentally ill.
Yeah. The fact that we're having discussions about this seems almost mentally ill. Yeah.
Yeah, a little bit of overanalyzing, I think.
Yeah. Well, this idea that we're trying to not be insulting to anybody and protect everybody. It's making even those core groups who stand on those things feel insulted and not included in other people's way of trying to include everybody and not insult anybody. And so they're twisting themselves in knots and finding themselves in this predicament. They've bickered themselves into a holy circle that they can't.
Well, that's what happens when there's no black and white, right and wrong anymore.
Yeah. Or when you get to the point of nitpicky where you can't say anything without offending someone.
Right.
And it's just going to get worse. It's just hilarious. I can't believe how fast this has gone, that we're at this point. When you look globally around the world at what's important, what's going on, what's for real, the fact that this shit is being discussed in this country,
it's absurd.
And it's hypocritical because it's discussed on our show. But the fact that it's even an issue is hilarious when you look around the world. It's hilarious. I mean, what are you going to do? Craigslist ads. Are we almost done with Craigslist?
Oh, I've been done. I never started, but I've heard enough on this show. I'm never going there.
Yeah.
It's not good, Mike.
Well, Atlanta police, and hopefully this is a joke.
It's got to be, right?
It seems so forward that it would have to be, but who knows? There are fucked up people. There are mentally ill people around here. Well, this front hole here said that Atlanta police say hundreds of people have called them regarding a Craigslist ad which claims that a pregnant woman wants to trade her unborn child for money or drugs. Police say they've turned the case over to the Georgia Bureau of Investigations, which is trying to determine whether the offer is real or fake. So her ad said 6 months pregnant, don't want it, willing to trade it for money or drugs, guaranteed white, so don't come at me cheap, serious offers only.
Guaranteed white. So don't come at me cheap.
Yeah.
So
yeah, there's a premium for us. Guys, you want a good, healthy white one, there's a premium you pay.
She's just a surrogate. What's the difference, guys? Isn't this this is normal, right?
Yeah, this seems like capitalism.
People pay for kids.
Atlanta police said in a statement that the ad is highly disturbing and suspicious, but no law has been broken yet. Can you give your kid away for drugs?
Until right. Well, it's like getting a prostitute, right? It's only illegal once the money has been given in exchange for sex, right? So it'd probably be the same here.
What would happen if you took that baby and you just turned up at a hospital with a new kid? Would there be questions? Could you just show up like one day and go, yeah, here's my baby. I had him at home. It's crazy.
I don't know. It always struck me as weird with all three of our kids, how you have the kid. Yeah, obviously you fill out the birth certificate information and all that. So there is a record there. There's obviously a hospital record. But what always strikes me is how you just leave with this kid and then it's like, bye, good luck in life.
Yeah.
I mean, you kind of feel like,
where's the training manual?
Yeah, where's the training manual? Where's kind of like the homing device or something?
Yeah.
I don't know. Like it just feels kind of weird to take this new life and it's yours to mold.
Yeah.
And just, hey, don't forget to enroll it in school.
Yeah.
And
in a few years.
There you go.
And what if you don't? I suppose you could do that too. Didn't we see a story about that not too long ago?
We could go to the woods and whatever. Like if you went up to the UP and just took your kid, they're not gonna chase you down, I don't think.
No, they won't.
I mean,
could you take your kids off the grid at this point? Would that raise flags?
That would raise flags.
It would.
Oh, you have to
People
do
would
it right
be upset at
away.
that.
You have to do it right away, right?
Off the grid. I like that.
Yeah, but
never put them on the grid.
Yeah.
It's like growing pot in your own house, right?
Yeah.
If you never involve anyone else.
Yeah. You can get away with it for a long, long time.
Yeah.
Sometimes even without the roommate knowing.
Boy, you could really fuck up a kid if you wanted. You could really do some damage.
Oh, yeah.
It's amazing.
Oh, well, Jay, I can't believe that Jay, out of all people, had the same idea of something that I wanted to do. The idea of kind of telling them that one thing is another.
Yeah.
I always used to say that I would like, I'm going to tell them that this is green. This floor is green.
The sky is green and the grass is blue.
Yeah.
I just hammer that home. Hammer it home.
We called the TV the glow box for a long time.
And just,
would they think that it's a glow box,
Yes.
or would television ads cure that, or the TV guide?
We call their junk their dudes
Yeah.
forever, and they refer to it as their dude.
Yeah.
So that got a little confusing.
What do you say
then,
with the? Are you going to switch to the front hole now?
No, the front hole is still the dude.
Oh, it is. So girls have dudes
Yeah,
too.
they do.
oh, that's a little confusing.
Wow.
So it's like bath time. It's like, all right, stand up. We got to wash your butt and dude.
Dude. And that goes for front holes too. That's amazing.
Yeah, I know.
Wow.
I wasn't sure what I'd do because I had the two boys, and of course, it's your dude, it's your junk.
Now
you know?
that I can get behind. I get that.
Then we had the little chick, the little sweet pie, but yeah, dude just settled in.
Has anyone
I
ever
would think
been,
you'd go with dudette or something.
No, just dude.
Yeah.
Has anyone ever been kicked in the dude? Do they say that? Like, oh, right in the dude.
They kind of dropped it when they realized, like, all right, other kids are calling it other things.
Right.
But yeah, that was just how we referred to their junk
Yeah.
for years.
I like that. You guys have gone rogue with
My
some of your
dude.
parenting things. The whole Santa Claus thing. Brilliant.
Thank you.
Dude. Yeah, there's some real forward thinking there. You're going off the grid, kind of doing your own thing. I've gone off the rails at the Detroit Cast
A
household.
little bit. You right. Try not to be crazy about it, but you got to add a little flavor. I
the
think.
Detroit Cats. You son of a bitch.
So honored when you named the show after me. I couldn't.
Yeah.
I
Even
was,
before
I was
you were
tickled.
Even before
It's
you
the only
even
way
knew
I could get you here.
Yeah,
Is to name it after you.
Well, even before you even knew it was going on.
I know. It was
Like almost
just honored.
Yeah, he was my captain on our soccer team.
I know, but
So it's the least I could do.
even when there was someone else there.
Anyway,
Whoa, what?
Red Bull me, you son of a bitch.
he's
Dude.
having mine. We
Huh?
worked something out. He's taking
of
mine.
Of course.
Yeah.
I need one. I need a jolt here.
Of course.
I need a smelling salt and a Red Bull.
I'm watching you.
All right, let me get you salt. All right.
Yeah, but salts are willy-nilly right now. There's some
We're gonna run low on those sooner than you know.
some weight in our Red Bull.
Oh! Share.
Wow. Woo! Here we go, everybody.
We got a Florida teen, 17, shot dead by his older brother, who mistook the 17-year-old for an intruder in his home Friday night.
It's like my brother with his bow. Remember that?
Yeah, what was the story there?
that was Ed. I think Ed was knocking on our window. I shared a room with Chet, right?
Yeah.
And so I went home, and Ed and you and Dan were outside throwing rocks at my window to try to wake me up to get me out of the house again.
Yeah.
Well, Chet is living there at the time, and he's like Mr. Serious. He's studying, and he's got to go to school the next day and all this shit.
Yeah.
And so he's like, something's amiss outside. And he goes and grabs his bow, and he's like got it drawn and aimed at whoever's at the window.
Probably Ed.
He's like, dude, runs away. Your brother pulled a bow on me, man.
Well, this guy pulled a gun and shot his brother. It's the brother of Leo Stay. He was asleep with his wife when they heard a noise coming from the kitchen around 11:30. He's 32 years old. He went to check on it and then fired a semi-automatic handgun when he saw someone standing there. It's like, there's a black guy in my kitchen, and opened fire on him. After he realized it was Leo, the older brother began immediately administering CPR while his wife called 911. Can you imagine?
So does the brother live there typically?
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. So why are you assuming it's an intruder and not maybe your brother?
Have you ever done that? Gotten up, heard a weird noise, and grabbed your gun and walked around the house? I have done that.
No. I've certainly woken up and gone, what the fuck was that? And then listened and like walked to the end of the hallway and stuff, but that I've walked around the whole house.
I did one night. Beth had a bat and I had my gun. Walked around the house and Poos was with us.
Like I
had my canine.
Yeah, look at the Poos.
Yeah.
Look at the Poos with the back foot over the snout.
Always.
Wow.
She sleeps like that all the time.
Their nose right in her box.
Yep.
Literally right in her box.
Oh,
She
yeah.
loves her box.
Oh my
Jay,
God.
it's her front hole.
Oh yeah, her front hole.
Come on.
I think she's licking her front hole.
She might be. She does that honestly daily.
As she's falling asleep, she's licking her front hole.
Yeah, it happens. Anyway, this kid sounds like
you would too if you could, right?
Oh God, yeah.
Wrestling champ. This kid is track star. Everybody's got nice things to say about him. Can you imagine? You'd never be able to forgive yourself. But yeah, I wonder why you would walk downstairs and open fire as soon as you saw someone if you didn't have all the people that you know live in the house accounted for.
Yeah, that's crazy.
It seems a bit strong, but I mentioned Officer Walters going off on a couple stories. Here's the other one that's drawing people's attention, and this is a homeowner who's branded the police thugs after a SWAT unit demolished his house. Yeah, in a hail of bullets, grenades during a hunt for a gunman.
Grenade.
Seriously?
That doesn't even seem like grenades don't even seem real to me other than in the army. You know, and even then. But the idea of cops just
in civilian life.
Yeah,
right.
well, you never know.
Taking the pin and
it's like Vietnam movies. That's not.
It's awesome.
Suburbia.
Leo Lech was this guy's name. He's been left with $250,000 in damage to his home in Colorado following a 20-hour police standoff. In any civilized nation, this is the act of paramilitary thugs. The incident unfolded after police and SWAT tried to capture Robert Seacat when he was spotted shoplifting.
Oh, God.
Seacat then opened fire on police when they tried to arrest him a short time later, and then he ran into a random home. He began a 20-hour standoff with police and was only taken into custody Thursday morning. The SWAT team used chemical agents, flashbang grenades, and a breaching arm or ram.
Look at that, dude. All the windows blown out. What shitty luck. My man runs into your house.
Yeah.
Oh.
Mm-hmm. There was obviously some kind of explosive that was fired into here. Lech said that he is livid that the house he purchased for his son is now destroyed with gaping holes where there was once windows and walls. There was one gunman with a handgun, and they chose to turn this house into something that resembles bin Laden's compound. He added they methodically fired explosives into every room in this house in order to extract one person. Granted, he had a handgun, but against 100 officers? You know, the proper thing to do would be to evacuate these homes around here, ensure the safety of the homeowners around here, fire some tear gas through the window. Oh, yeah, that's a good idea. Fire tear gas through the windows. You'd light that place up. I think you'd set the house on fire with tear gas if you launched it into a house. I think you would.
Are you being...
I'm totally being serious.
Why? That's what it's...
In a street situation. I don't think in a house. Look that up, K-Dog. I thought if you fired tear gas canisters into a home...
Never thought about that.
You could light it up. If that didn't work, you have 50 SWAT officers with body armor break down the door. The insides of the house are now totally exposed, even showing the artwork on the walls. He said his insurance will pay for repairs, but his son didn't have rental insurance, and the possessions are therefore not being covered. There was an engagement ring in there that would have been John's great-great-grandmother's. It survived 2 world wars, okay, but it didn't survive the American police paramilitary operation.
Somewhere. It's just blown somewhere.
Yeah.
They'll find it.
Yeah, what are you going to do?
Probably, maybe.
A neighbor said the SWAT team used his home as a base and managed to destroy their windshield using explosives too. This is an atrocity. Yeah, what are you gonna do?
Protect and serve, man.
Yeah, that seems a bit much, but
it's pretty funny how everything's blown out.
Yeah.
But he bought it for his son. That means he's got cash. You're buying your kid a house like that.
Yeah.
You're fine.
Yeah.
He's got insurance, as he said. All it is possessions. This is much ado about nothing.
This is a
Mike.
free remodeling job.
Yeah, this is great news out of Colorado.
This is a great news story out of Colorado.
There's your feel-good story for the day. There it is.
Well, it was going to be the feel-good story for the day until I found this story, which I got to be honest with you, is a great story. We got a woman who says she was forced to get out of her wheelchair and crawl onto an American Airlines flight. She's filed a lawsuit against them now. Teresa Purcell is her name. She was left humiliated as she crawled to her seat in front of dozens of passengers before a commuter flight from San Diego. She wasn't allowed to board on a wheelchair because the agent at the gate told her it was too late to set up a ramp to the plane's door. The airline has apologized for the incident and all that shit, but she's filing a $75,000 lawsuit.
I guess I'm not picturing this. So it's not the typical walk down the little enclosure.
Yeah, it's a commuter plane.
Okay.
So one of those where you've had those where you walk onto the tarmac and there's a staircase.
Gotcha.
And it's like, we're not carrying your lard ass up there, do the moon.
So she had to crawl up there like a walrus?
She had to do the worm and get up there. And yeah, I guess.
Jabba the Hutt.
I was humiliated. It was embarrassing. That's why she wants the $75,000 lawsuit, to prevent other people maybe down the road from being embarrassed.
Of course.
So I don't know if she's going to start
if she can just save one other person, it'd all be worth it.
Right. She's her mobility is limited to a bone disease. Said it was the first time she flew with American. She'll never fly again.
Hold on, man. When somebody doesn't have use of their lower limbs, aren't they usually atrophied? This chick's huge.
Yeah, they're usually thin.
She's got big old thick legs. I don't believe it. She's faking. This chick's faking.
You think so? She claims she alerted the airline ahead of time that she would require a ramp and was shocked when she said they told them they wouldn't be providing one, even though one was located next to the plane. You wouldn't want to watch your family member crawl onto a plane. I mean, come on, this is America. I'm just saying, there's always a way. She's a hip hop artist, by the way.
Oh, really?
Oh, really? What? How many albums has she dropped?
I don't know. She said the gate agent told her it wasn't possible to use the ramp she had spotted.
Dog, is there any way we can? Okay,
he's working on it.
But see, this is why I say this is great news. This hip hop artist,
I'll give her the struggle.
No one's ever heard of this moron hip hop artist in a wheelchair. And if Kadog can find a song of hers, we'll give her a spin.
There you go.
And check it out. She's getting more publicity for her dumb hip hop career.
No.
If they didn't make her crawl onto an airplane, you'll never hear of this woman.
Please.
She's going to get even more publicity when they show that she's faking it. She can walk. Look at those legs.
Please.
Those aren't atrophied at all.
No, I agree.
Please, for the love of God, be able to find some of this.
She's pulling a slow Donnie, no Saj Negatnarb style.
Yeah.
That's what she's doing.
Ooh.
She's taking advantage. She wants to sit on her ass and have people wheel around. She's faking it. I'm saying it right now. She's a faker.
Yeah. I'm with you. You would think those would be penciled thin legs. But yeah, those look like they've gotten a healthy walk around.
She's a hip hop artist. Yeah. What are her? She's singing songs about? What could the topics be?
Her plight, E.
Oh,
Yeah.
Being disabled and
I
all.
want to hear something.
I know. I want to hear some too. Come on, Kadog,
Allegedly
you can find
disabled?
her.
Dude,
She's a hip hop artist. This is her moment. You got to have new material out there. Wow. Before you file that lawsuit, you got to have your newest material out on the web.
How do you even get the moniker hip hop artist in a news story if you can't even fucking use a Google machine and find anything she's done?
Yeah.
Yeah, you don't have one YouTube video out there.
Yeah.
Maybe they just saw that picture of her holding a microphone and went, she's a hip hop artist. Because we got a picture of her holding a microphone. Doesn't look like she's on a stage, though. Looks like she's speaking to a group of other fakers.
It's like she's doing like
in a room.
She's calling a bingo game or something. I don't know. It could be anything.
Yeah.
I don't. But is that her turntables and everything? I'm just kidding.
Maybe it is.
That's her DJ and she's the MC.
She could be speaking to a classroom there.
Yeah, it could be anything.
Yeah.
Damn it! I want.
She's teaching a class on how to pull off the elaborate fake job of a wheelchair.
Bunch of slow Donnies in the audience, just listening in.
A bunch of people that walked in and wheeled out.
There was a story about a veteran, I feel like, in the last couple of weeks.
Stolen valor.
Yes, who I don't know, somehow he got like a house paid for him under the guise of that he was all disabled and everything, and then they found out, I think they saw him on video walking.
Wow.
Yeah, this is a couple weeks ago. I meant to pull that.
It's so hard now these days to fake that because everyone has a camera. So at one point you're gonna be if you're gonna say you're in a wheelchair, you're gonna be caught somewhere walking around.
Yeah.
They look like such ass wipes too. Like Dateline, I think Dateline 2020, one of those have done a couple stories on these where there are teams of people that are hired by the insurance companies to go, I think this guy's full of shit. You want to follow up on this story, and they'll literally camp out like in the dark, in the shade, hidden with full on equipment to record these people. It's like, oh, there's the guy that can't get out of bed, so he needs $200,000 insurance claim because he can't work anymore.
Oh, he's going golfing.
Oh, he's hooping with his buddies. Nice. And you just see these people. There's this one chick who was like, she hurt her ankle so bad at work. She had to collect disability and never work again.
Is it Sharpton's daughter?
Yeah, totally. And there she is in a bikini walking across the stage, like strutting her titties. For everyone.
My God.
She's showing off her front hole and her titties and just like, look at me. And they're like, oh, she's in like 6-inch stripper heels. They're like, oh, that ankle's too bad for you to work, huh?
God.
They just look so stupid when you see them out kicking around town.
No, that's what this chick's doing for sure. Astronom file E. To the file.
Damn it! I want to hear her sing so bad.
Yeah, Kadog, if you're able to find anything, let us know. What are you running into?
Make this your top priority.
She's just got no web footprint whatsoever. I mean, I kind of found a Google Plus, and I can't find anything for her on Facebook. But
how can she be a hip hop artist without a Twitter?
I mean, she's got nothing.
It's a pretty loose description, isn't it, E?
Yeah, she must just really be hustling. You know, she's just not even. She's so off the grid, man. She's such a real.
Her demo's probably on cassette tape right now, and I'm just can't find it.
9 to 5.
She looks Native American. Is she big within the tribe? Maybe
the
Ojibwe.
Yeah, she could be a tribal performer.
Yeah, we don't know.
A clown, if you will.
Yeah. Well, let us know if you find anything, Kadog. I'd love to hear from this rap artist, hip hop artist.
Hey, Zat Ford has everything you need, including their award-winning service department. Yes, they have won Ford's prestigious President's Award the past 4 out of 5 years. You know that, right? You have the T-shirt to prove it, dude. You're still, dude. He wore it on stage the other day. He's still wearing it 2 days later.
I just want people to know. I want when I go outside of the house, I want people to realize that they won this award.
Yeah. Yes, Big E works in their service department, which means they do not have the hottest service staff in Oakland County. But you know what their service department does have? They have the best deals and best customer service, period. What makes Zat Ford the best, you ask? Number one, tell them the Detroit Cast sent you and receive 15% off your total repair order. 2, they keep you informed real time via text of your vehicle's progress as it seamlessly flows through their repair process. Therefore, you never have to wonder if and when your precious vehicle will be ready for pickup. If all that isn't enough, Zat Ford also has movie-style popcorn and limitless bottled water. Limitless.
Wow.
Visit Zat Ford now at I-75. And
was that a shot at Helm?
Yeah, I think it was.
Yeah.
I think they point out it's 12 ounce.
It's a shot at Helm.
Please.
Yeah. Visit Zat Ford on I-79 just north of Pittsburgh.
No,
please.
I don't know if this is hip hop. Of course, I can't listen to it. This, I think, is her.
Yes, it's definitely hip hop.
Why do you think that's her?
Because from reading about her, she was born in Hawaii.
I was going to say
moved to San Diego.
Don Ho shit.
This is all I can find with her name. I mean, you can see it's stamped.
I like it.
But it's not hip hop.
I like it nonetheless. It kicks ass.
Kicks ass.
Who's giving this 2 thumbs down?
This is
there are 2 red arrows.
9 positives.
9 positives, yeah. The whole Purcell family.
Choose your octave wisely, Mike.
We greet you, Bolovinaka.
So what she sings a few lines and there's 3
minutes. Let's hear her
Yeah.
sing it. Hold on.
With open arms we greet you, dear friends of the distant shore. And if you guide your foot,
She doesn't sound disabled to me.
and love will fill world, you're so
No,
sweet,
she doesn't.
Frosty the snowman has a very with a corn pop pipe and a button nose, 2 eyes made out of.
I know a friendship will last.
No, that was good.
Are you saying
That
this
was
is a Zeppelin situation with
Frosty?
No. Did she
Spirit?
steal? Yeah, with Spirit. Is this
Yeah.
a Zeppelin Spirit? Frosty.
Could be. It
Teresa
sounds like
Purcell?
it sounded a bit like a Frosty ripoff to me. Yeah. Did you hear it?
Yeah, I did. A little bit.
Yeah.
A little bit. Yeesh.
Wasn't what I was expecting.
No, as a hip hop artist, that wasn't what I was.
That's so hardcore. It doesn't even sound like hip hop. To be honest with you, she's going a totally different direction. I like that.
Yeah, it's very experimental, you know. So,
we got a Chinese doctor. Oh wait,
for what?
Huh?
I don't feel like Chinese tonight anyway.
God damn
it. What's his name?
Xiaoping Yiren.
I'm sorry, I don't speak Japanese.
Mm-hmm.
What does that have to do with anything?
He's performed 1,000 head transplants on meese.
Right.
Yeah.
Is this the same dude that we've been hearing about? Wow.
Different
okay.
dude. They're kind of jockeying like who's going to be the first to land on the moon.
Right.
Types of things. It's kind of a Russian versus the American
Sputnik.
team. Exactly.
Sure.
He's moving up the food chain. Monkeys are next.
Wow.
Yeah. Xiaoping Ren began working on mice in 2013. So just a couple short years ago. Considers himself the world's leading authority on the type of surgery.
Just think, if you can do a meese, you could certainly do a human. Think about all the intricacies of a meese's, little tiny
Skeletal
arteries
frame?
and shit. Yeah, little tiny skeletal frame.
I don't. You think it'd be easier or harder than a human head?
It's ridiculous.
He says, some of the meese live up to 10 days following operation.
Oh,
good.
wow,
Perfect.
wow, that's
Sign
10
me up,
days.
E.
right. Yeah, 10 day up to
10 days, which means
I mean-
most of them probably died. I would guess within one millithousandth of a second from the time he cut their heads off.
Yeah.
when you get a head transplant. That's what you're looking for. 10 days, and then
Pull up the pictures of this guy,
that's enough.
this doctor with the
Call
mice
it.
heads that he's done, because he's done like black and white mices, and then
Meese?
and then switches their heads, and so it's a black head on a white meese and a white head on a black meese. Yeah,
Well, that's a little.
it looks weird.
Do you think the black one looks down at his dick and goes, "What the fuck, man?"
Oh yeah,
Yeah.
what happened to it? Dr. Ren said he wants to use monkeys next, admitting he's hoping to create the first head transplanted primate that can live and breathe on its own, at least for a riddle wire.
Okay.
I think the goal should not just be 10 days here.
A ritter while.
Yes.
I think it should be like forever. Not forever.
Right.
Nobody lives forever.
Obviously,
but I
that
don't
would
know,
be ridiculous.
couple
years?
decades.
Right.
Let's go for decades.
Do
here.
meese live a couple decades?
I don't know, dude.
No,
How long
but
do
if we're
meese live?
They live more than 10
Certainly
days.
longer than 10 days. They're getting shortchanged here for sure. Researchers in this area have branded Dr. Frankenstein's. That's what they go. Look at that.
Yeah, that's weird.
Look at those sons of bitches. They're all dead, though. They don't look like they're
Yeah.
thriving.
They look like they're about to jump on the hamster wheel anytime soon.
No. Look at them on those little mini guillotines. Look at those sons of bitches.
It's
Look at those
awkward,
perps.
dude. It's awkward.
Yeah, it's not a good look. Looks uncomfortable.
I mean, I suppose if
It doesn't look fully finished, honestly. There's a lot of meat hanging out of it.
it
It's like-
looks like when you would watch a cartoon or a movie and they would be making, like you said, the Frankenstein
yeah,
reference.
just kind of
Yeah.
sewing on, right?
Yeah.
Huh.
Yeah. I mean, honestly, if you said he just ripped a head off and taped it onto the other guy's body,
I would
Yeah.
be able to
you
tell
go,
them.
oh, yeah. No, I could see that. It almost looks real. Good job.
Imagine all the intricacies of what's going on in the neck and
There's
all
so
the
much
connections that are so important to life.
Yeah.
And you're telling me my man did all that to that mouse to allow it to live?
And even
Is
if
that
they,
how he's
Oh, it's
doing it?
fairly simple, Kadog. Thank you for pulling that up.
Wow. Yeah, this is not that big a deal. We
few
could
simple
probably
connections,
do
Jay.
A few simple connections. All right.
And even let's give him the benefit of the doubt that they're making it to 10 days. Is that a nice life that they're living, or are they just in pain for 9 days?
Oh yeah, they're just laying there with a heartbeat somehow, some way.
Yeah, but remember,
it's just a simple few, just like
three screws. Yeah, 3 screws.
Wow, who
That's
knew
it.
it was that easy?
And a little bit of magic glue, right?
Yeah,
That's
but
ridiculous.
this isn't the magic
Why
glue
is
doctor.
there even a diagram of this? Like, what would the?
He's trying to break it down for the lay.
Why does he want to give away his secret? Now anyone could do this. We could do this. It's 3 easy connections.
I like that diagram. That explains a lot with the stitches.
Well, I could stitch it because as you know, I mend things.
Yeah.
Let's see. Here we go. If you go to the other one first. So you got this.
So who's going to do the connection? You want to cut it? You do the connection. I'll stitch it up.
I can screw it. I could like screw the screws in.
All right. Well, I'll slice it down the middle. And
I don't trust you. You don't look like you have a steady hand to me. Kadog, can you do the slicing for us?
I think so. Yeah.
I'm actually a better man. I'm actually a better manager anyway.
Yeah, you're a project manager.
Yeah.
So
You're more of a hold the flashlight guy.
Right. Yeah.
Stand the fuck over there and hold the flashlight.
Get out of this. You're making a shadow, E. Stand over there and hold the flashlight.
Is this his official diagram?
I doubt it's official. But
It looks pretty official. I mean, it looks like something the Detroit Cast would whip up, but official in its own right.
This is the mouse version of the Grey's Anatomy right there.
Right.
The idea that the neck, even a rat, even a meese, has only 3 little cords and that's it.
That's all that matters, E.
Plug these in and
the carotid artery, the spinal column, and some sort of trachea or something. What are we dealing with here?
I think the spinal column is where you run into some problems.
Yeah, maybe.
I mean, that's the thing that was hard for him to get through. Thank God he had the magic pace.
The son of a bitch isn't going to be able to move after, but he can live for up to 10 days.
Yeah, and I don't know. That seems like you've kind of forced that in there.
Mm-hmm.
10 days.
Again, I'm telling you, I think those 10 days. I don't think he's
Yeah, he's not on the wheel. You're right.
Up to that sounds very vague and gray to me.
Yeah, and he's done 1,000 of them. Which means one made it 10 days, maybe.
Right.
And if
maybe
I don't even know.
That's just wind and nerve endings at that point.
Yeah. The whole idea is ridiculous, they say. Some people, some haters.
Dude.
There's haters in the industry.
Well, there's always going to be those, as Taylor Swift says. So
So you've got
the got to shake it off, ready?
You got to shake it off.
So it sounds like you need to make a clean cut through the brainstem, make a clean cut through the jugular and the carotid. But once you do that and successfully sew them back up, this seems like a hose that's on full blast, and you cut the hose in half and then try to put it back together while the water's still flowing through it. Right?
Right.
We've all been there when you're.
We've sold enough hose clamps at Gene's Hardware, Mike,
Absolutely.
to know how that could work.
Yeah.
Well, one of you did. I'm sure one was the expert and one was the.
Yeah, and one was the one that
Mike
told you where the.
Mike was
let me
the
get
ball
my
cock expert.
Let me get my expert on the on that.
Yeah, look at the nerve fibers. Look
No
how
big
intricate
deal.
these
This is
are.
MBD right
We got
here,
these.
guys.
We got these. We'll just connect each one of those individually.
Yeah, man. I don't even know why I can't believe we're not doing this already. Head transplants. It sounds like it's no big deal.
Yeah, that does look. I mean, there's
Why
a
are
lot.
there these diagrams?
I wish
Who-
they were color coded better. To
why
be
are
honest
these
with you, but-
diagrams necessary.
I'll
For
have to say, I'm kind of glad the guy started with rats.
Really?
'Cause this looks not. It doesn't look promising.
Whoa,
But
Jay!
It's not very auspicious.
Remember the guy that wanted to be the first in line for the human head transplant? He's hoping to have that done in like 2 years.
What an idiot!
But remember him? He had this look going like he had.
Well,
no
he
neck.
had no neck. How are they going to cut that son of a bitch off?
I don't know. And then he had like one leg that was doing its own thing, and then he was kind of tucked into a wheelchair and he couldn't move.
Yeah, he was
And his
nega
whole-
narbed.
He was beyond that. Like he
So he's
looked
just
like he
kinda
could
like-
expire at any moment. Things were not going his way, and he'd already outlived what he should have lived by like 10 years. And so he's like, I want to be first in line. I want to be first in line. And so for a guy like that,
Yeah,
what do you
There
have
he
to
is.
lose?
There he is.
There's my man. You know, but
He
those
almost has a fidget arm.
But see, I don't think you could claim he's faking it.
No,
There's some things that look atrophied there.
Yeah,
for sure.
definitely.
I mean, we could tilt that chair up and just see
Everything but his head looks atrophied.
Yeah.
Does his head look a
And
little out of
frankly,
shape for his
I'm
body?
not sure. I don't know.
What?
I don't know, man. I just continue on with Finish the game, dude. Finish the game.
What you got
Really?
going there?
Yeah.
If there was a chance, though, even if it was 1 in a million, wouldn't you be like, yeah?
No, it's 1 in a million.
They're gonna cut your head off. Dude, let's just be honest. It's not gonna work, right? So
You don't know that. Hater.
It's 1 in a million.
Quit shading the doctor. What are you doing? Look at that dude sitting there in a chair with his computer forever. And this guy's promising you he could pop your head on a new body and you'd be good to go.
Yeah, and look at the diagram. It's the exact same procedure. There's 2 hoses we need to buy. We could probably get them at Home Depot.
Yeah.
Hose clamps.
Yeah. Jeans Hardware.
Sure.
Not Jeans Hardware anymore.
Well, not anymore. So that's why you have to go somewhere else.
Right.
I'm taking that risk. If I was in that position, I'd be all over that.
Actually, I don't see that out of you. I see you just.
Well, I'm just saying, if I was in that
He'd
position,
give up. His life force would go
gone.
He wouldn't care.
Yeah, that one is Dr. Canavero and Spiridonov, Mr. Spiridonov. They talk through Skype. They've never met in person. He's never seen his medical records.
No reason to.
But within like 2 years, he's going to do it to him. Cut his head
Kick
off.
ass.
That's way overrated. Looking at past medical records and getting to know the patient, maybe learning it.
Yeah.
Isn't Ted Williams' head cryogenically
Yes.
frozen?
Yeah, but I think they had a power outage or something, and it
No
turned
shit.
into a little bit of goop or something.
They
So they got
totally
some. They
did.
got to work some stuff out. But yeah, I think it's technically still in the lab.
They
but-
don't have his body
I mean-
still because they could put my man's onto Ted Williams' body. That'd be pretty sweet.
Yeah, but Ted Williams was like 80 when that happened. I mean,
Yeah. It's better than what he has, though.
They put his
True.
They put his
That's
head-
true.
They did this. They put Ted Williams' head on a body, and he just woke up. He's like, "I'm Ted Williams." It's just on a body. Like, would it be like
It's
he would just
absurd.
would
It
he
is
just be napping? Would it be like he just wake up from a nap and go, "Let's go down to Fenway Park and see what we got going on"? You know?
Yeah, but I mean, at some point
I mean, it
in
happened in
time, people said it
Futurama,
was
so.
it was ridiculous to think of landing on the moon.
Yeah, and that's why they did it on a soundstage.
You asshole.
No, I'm not one of those.
I know you're not, but I mean, people put some thought into it, and they
Gotta
made
take
it happen.
baby steps. Exactly.
Yeah.
Gotta start with rats.
We're gonna lose a few.
We are.
We're probably not going to be able to recover Mr. Spiridonov.
This guy's dead.
I mean-
You're looking at a dead man walking. I'll be honest.
Dead man rolling.
Well,
Come
yeah.
on.
Totally.
So
And I don't think it's
insensitive.
all that bad. He's got a little computer there on his chair.
Yeah, what else do you even
Motorized shit.
I know he probably doesn't even have to use his mouth. Like, probably just.
Could be a hell of a lot worse, Mr. Spiridonov.
Donov. I bet nobody bitches at him for not leaving the house every day.
Spiridonov. Isn't that like a dinosaur? A Spiridon?
Looks like it. Yeah.
Looks like.
Yeah, that guy can be as lazy as he wants, and no one's gonna bitch at him for it.
I know.
Look
This
at-
is not too
This is
bad.
a charmed life.
Just look at porn all day on that computer. Just
Yep. But he can't do anything with it.
That
I don't
would-
think his arms work
that
well.
would be the worst.
Yeah, I doubt he has a functioning Panoose. Look at that guy.
Yeah.
Could he?
He's probably hung.
What an insult to injury that would
Yeah.
be.
Yeah.
Got just a huge dick. I can't use it.
Yeah, right there in the pant leg. That's not a leg. That's a dick. It's a dick with a shoe on it.
And he's just going around, wheeling around, just like, God damn it. Knowing other dudes have like 6 inches, and he's like, fuck.
The shoe on it. Did you see Jesus there in that wood
This is your
piece?
life now. This is your
God.
life now, Jay.
You're right. Yeah, sure.
You do? You see Jesus in that?
I see a face. Let me see a real. Can I just.
I see a Pac-Man ghost more than I see.
I see Gandalf.
Ah,
Lord of the Rings.
dude,
I don't know.
I see a face. I don't see Jesus.
I
see
saw
sorry.
Jesus in the famous grilled cheese sandwich for sure. No, that was the Mother Mary. Sorry.
Yeah, you
That was-
didn't see Jesus.
Dude,
in
that was my favorite. The grilled cheese.
yeah.
That shit's great, man.
Where are they saying they see Jesus?
What do you mean? Really?
I mean, I see
Yes.
you see a face.
I see
though, right?
eyes, a nose, and a Kitterman.
That's Jesus.
What?
Well, shh. By
Come
that
on, man.
description, It could be anybody.
Could be
Jesus-
Gandalf
It
or
looks
Jesus.
like a tooth.
No, it's either Gandalf or Jesus. Look.
I see a person, but I don't see Jesus.
No.
You know, he's got slight lips, but lips nevertheless.
Oh, I see it now. Yeah, sure.
And then you got kind of hair coming down. That's it.
Oh wow, now it's
right.
cleaned up.
Yeah.
Yeah. No, I totally see it now. That's great. No, that's good.
There's the grilled cheese sandwich. Is that Jesus or Mary?
That is Jesus in a grilled cheese.
I told you, you son of a bitch.
You know, I'm not kidding. I can see it there. Like,
well, sure.
No, I'm just saying compared to.
Yeah, I can see a facial structure as well.
What would you do if you made that delicious looking grilled cheese sandwich?
Dude, I would have eaten it in a second.
I would have too.
I might have called Gab over. Hey, Gab, check this out. Does that look like a face? She'd be like, no. I'd be like, all right, thought it did. And then I'd eat
now that's
the shit
an
out of it.
impressive one.
Yeah.
If I saw that, in my
Jesus
grilled-
holding 2 doves and everything.
I'd still eat it. I would.
Not sure.
A shopper was stunned when he saw the face of Jesus in an IKEA bathroom.
Come on.
Yeah. I mean, what will pass off as Jesus in a sighting nowadays is quite absurd. Dave Simmons is his name. He was shopping at IKEA on his way out of the shitter. He went into the shitter and he was startled by this image staring back at him. And somehow he saw Jesus in that.
That's absurd. Okay, you can sort of see a face, right?
You can sort of see a couple. Yeah.
Why do you assume it's Jesus?
I don't see Jesus at all because that's what'll get talked about, I suppose.
Where is this?
In an IKEA.
IKEA.
Yeah, I went
You
to
ever
the
been
toilet
to one of those.
Yes,
once.
Yeah, pain in the ass.
Pretty brutal.
Mm-hmm. I think it looks like Jesus. Some of my friends says it looks like the tree people from Lord of the Rings.
Yeah, dude, that's what it looks like. Totally.
Yeah. And there's something there, but it's certainly.
Have you
isn't
seen that?
Jesus.
I think it's in.
I haven't really seen those movies, but I know the tree people.
Yeah, that's what it looks like.
It does not look like Jeebus. There's no question.
Jeebus.
Is that the tree people? Kidog?
Yeah.
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 There you go.
That's closer.
Oh, I forget his name. What's his name, Kidog? The main tree.
I believe it's Treebeard.
Yes, Treebeard.
Treebeard?
Yes,
Yeah.
Treebeard.
Wow. From Lord of the Rings?
Yep.
I haven't seen them.
And they
Good
were
movie.
Ents.
Ents.
That was
That's
the
right.
type of their species.
Yes.
Jesus. Wow.
Of course,
Nerd.
played a
knows
huge
that.
part, Mike.
Yeah.
They rose up against the army
two
of Mordor.
nerds.
How we
Radio
doing
for two.
for email?
We've got some email, Mike.
Oh shit! The show's already over.
I know.
Time
This
flies.
is where E turns off his brain,
Yep.
goes to Facebook.
Start texting my friends.
David Helm writes in, and remember
Who's that?
we asked the question concerning caseload the other day. I think there was a lawyer who was like, "I've done 30." Oh, it
Yeah,
was the
30,000.
Mansion murders.
Yep.
Yeah.
And he was like, "I've done 30,000 cases."
Yeah.
And I'm telling you, this guy is not guilty because he doesn't like pizza and all this bullshit.
Right.
Oh
And
yeah.
we're like 30,000 cases, really?
Mhm.
So we said, Helm, write in about caseload. He said, I think it's possible for this guy to have had that many cases, but the only way to get to 30,000 would be if he spent a substantial number of years as a prosecutor or a full-time public defender, which he could have. When I was in Livingston County, says Dave, I could easily cycle through 15 to 20 cases a day on average. In private practice, I close out one every 2 weeks or so. I mean, that's a lot.
It's
dude.
a big difference.
Like I said, I've probably done 100, but I've got some that go years.
Yeah.
But dude, 15 to 20 a day, damn. I mean, you're just toggling through everything from tickets
urinating
to
in
noise
Publix.
violations.
Well, yeah. I mean, does that count? Like you said, does that count that I got a speeding ticket?
It's
because
got to
David
be what
Helm
the
is-
dude is counting. It's
Yeah.
got to be.
Yeah.
Kim writes in, Jay and Mike, I would absolutely tune in to watch Jay and Eric on The Amazing Race. It would be the best thing on
Oh, I
TV
forgot
all
about
week.
that.
Kadog, are you on this? Do we have the application process ready, front and center, ready to go?
What more do you want from me? I pulled all the information.
Yeah, we just have to make the film now.
Yeah, this is on you.
Ooh.
I don't like that. I need help with this.
Yeah, I'm willing to help. Is there a
We'll have to come in. We might have to come in early one day.
Well, you've got some film now. You rolled tape.
Oh, yeah,
if
we
someone
could-
rolled tape
right, we
from your
could use-
comedy
we could use a
show,
little
we can
bit of that.
splice that into something.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We just need a image of me or series of images of me with some important business documents looking important.
I would be so excited.
Mr. Detroitcast, your briefcase, sir.
I'd
You're
be-
Khrushchev.
How awesome to go get some B-roll. Just me and I'll have to go downtown somewhere and have just Jay just walking with a briefcase, walking up.
Up to federal court.
Yes. And like George said, if you just walk with a face that you look like you're busy, people just assume you're important.
Absolutely. As for skills that you bring to the game, Jay, you can use your lawyering logic and problem-solving skills. And Eric, as you've proven in the past, you're able to consume anything other teams may have trouble stomaching, and perform acts that
See?
others may find vile.
See?
I think you would be unstoppable as long as Jay could keep Eric on a short leash. If you are selected to compete, Mike, you could have Bah sit in for Jay, and you know all the pervs will watch the YouTube feed.
That's
That's a good point.
Wiggy Base! Also, thank you for the fast delivery of my new decast mug. As you can see, my little Proops was anxious to check it out. Winky face, Kim. Winky face, winky face, winky face. Wow, that's a lot of winky faces. Look at that, Proops.
Look at that, Proops. Staring at the mug.
What is that little
Let me
Proops? What do you
see.
call that thing? A Pomeranian or something?
Oh, I think you might be right.
Just a little tiny guy.
Oh my God.
Checking out the mug. I
What's
think
that
he
new
likes the mug.
thing? There's a new thing in the house, right? They
Yeah.
open a box. They got to check it out.
Maybe there's a bug in the mug. It wasn't a play on words. Seriously, maybe they put something in the mug that made it.
I would never have said it, but
Speaking of the mugs, Ray writes in, King, cult leader, and Mrs. TCG. The carrier pigeon arrived, and I just received my sweet TDC mug and 2 shirts in the mail. I will proudly wear these items, spreading the word on this year's summer vacations as far north as Sleeping Bear Dunes, down to Nashville, Memphis, and as far south as Tuscaloosa, Alabama. Just a couple of comments on the mug. I seem to have gotten a left-handed mug. If I hold it with my right hand, the TDC logo faces me. I want the logo facing others as I sip on a refreshing beverage. This can be rectified by either making right-handed mugs or print the TDC logo on both sides. Yes, we will pay the extra cost of more printing. Also, on the next run, I want "God damn it" printed on the bottom so that it is shown with every sip of said refreshing beverage. In closing, I used the Amazon link to purchase the last 3 issued Led Zeppelin Super Deluxe Edition box sets along with various items, totaling over $500.
Wow.
So be on the lookout for a check for 17 cents. Hands up, don't shoot, Ray. Good man, Ray. Thanks for using the Amazon link.
Yes.
Reminder, everybody, use the Amazon link on our front page.
It's more helpful to us than you can imagine. That's why it's
Absolutely.
worth plugging so much.
and the Canadian one on the other.
On the help the show
There we
tab,
go.
righty?
There you
Good
go.
point. Bigger E writes in, gentlemen, I have an order of business to address that is of utmost importance. And then he points out, as Ray just did, that we're selling left-handed mugs, dude.
Really?
Heads must roll, says Bigger E. And I tend to agree with him. Are we selling left-handed mugs, Mike?
I don't know. Where would you get him? The Leftorium E?
Ah, yes.
That's what he says, dude. That's
Does
what
he?
Bigger E says. Is that Ned Flanders' place of business?
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah,
Yeah.
he says
The
consult
Leftorium.
Big E and Chaz for the Simpsons reference.
Yeah. He opened a store that only sold left-handed products.
Nice.
Of course, it didn't go very well
No.
for him.
Not at first,
The
anyway.
Leftorium.
Well, it
No.
sort of went well for us for one run, but dude, are we selling left-handed mugs?
I don't know. I never
'Cause
thought
honest-
about it.
I know we have thought about this. In fact, our provider kind of, I remember, referenced this, which surprises me if we ended up with left-handed mugs because that
Why would
exact issue was discussed.
Really? I
When
don't
you
remember.
pick it up with your right hand, you want the logo on the outside. Are we selling left-handed mugs?
I didn't know they would make left-handed mugs.
Yeah, who cares about left-handed people?
Yeah.
Southpaws.
Good point.
Mo writes in, hey, Supreme Leader, His Majesty, an only person that would tell an audience that is cheering for him to fuck off.
He did.
Hey, fuck you. Fuck you, Beth.
I know there's a
You cunt.
huge ovation to start off. 100 people fucking, you're right. And I just walk up, fuck you guys.
I know it is only June, but I have a couple nominations for the 2015 Christmas shirt. Ali Akbar, OLLIE, and Choose Your Octave Wisely. Love the show and keep up the great work.
I don't
Good
like
day,
Choose
sir.
Your
Good day, sirs.
Not a fan of that
No,
one.
you don't like Choosing Your
Not a
Octave
fan of
Wisely.
Ali Akbar.
Ali. Go writes in, Rayline is, I don't think Jay gets it. It is stuck in my mind for the last few days that Jay admitted that he would likely be the first to leave the Detroit cast. I know Walters understands. Unfortunately, I was raised by Walters, Drew, Mike, Mark, and Trudy. When I had to go to hockey in the mornings, Drew and Mike was always on in the car. It was how I learned a ton of adult things when I was 12 to 15. Jay, there are no fans like radio fans. Shows like yours become a habit for people. When that ends, people get pissed off. I love your show. I listen in every morning. I even keep the headphones plugged into my laptop when I go into meetings because I work for a Japanese company and I'm paranoid about Walters telling certain stories in that voice. Jay, you have gotten yourself into a situation where many people rely on the show to get through the day. It's not a simple thing to walk away. Radio fans are insane because when you leave, you completely ruin the natural flow of people's lives. I am Eric's age, okay, so 32, and have met a few celebs, not as many as Walters, Pamela Anderson, no pick, but I have never been so starstruck is when my wife got me in the Drew and Mark studio for my 30th. Hopefully, if you can get Mike to leave the house, I can meet you guys too. But Jay, you really don't know what commitment you got yourself into getting into entertainment in Detroit. Good luck leaving TDC, dude. I don't. All right.
Was this a discussion that happened the day I was gone?
I don't know when this happened, but
I don't ever remember this happening. So I don't know if it was that Monday when I was still.
I'm not intending to leave.
No.
I mean, if I left, it would be like I have to leave.
Yeah.
You know?
Well, that's still, you might as well quit on these people. They don't care. They don't want to hear that.
Yeah, I'm not like leaving by choice.
No,
I have to leave.
Here's what has happened. We've referenced a couple times where, and it happened at the show last night. We were talking to someone because someone was saying to you, Jay, make sure Walters doesn't quit. And it was like, wait a minute. There's way more chance of Jay quitting.
If anyone's
going to
quit, it's me.
Are you kidding me? And I think that's what it was, where it was like, we'll do this thing until Jay can't possibly, like, if we just couldn't make it work. But it's not like,
yeah, you got to remember, like, this isn't what I was groomed to do. I didn't grow up doing this.
Yeah.
And so this has sort of fallen into my lap, and it's
you didn't
been
walk
awesome.
into a contract. Like
it's been right. I walked into like zero pay, and we're just trying to grow it, and it's been awesome, and I love it. But I mean, bottom line is, if I can't take care of my family,
yeah,
there's gonna be time where I gotta go.
Yeah.
Hopefully that doesn't happen, but that's the fact, man. But thanks for caring, Joe. I mean, that's interesting. It's an interesting way to put it.
But things are going well. So I
yeah. No, I don't mean to say like I'm on the cusp or anything.
Yeah.
Not at all.
Yeah.
Mark writes in, or should I say Captain wait. Mark writes in, Sierra Tango, Captain Walters. Oh, okay. Sierra Tango. Or should I say Captain Wataz? I had to travel to Montreal on business yesterday to attend a conference with my boss. My boss flies and owns a plane. He picked me up in Sarnia to head to Montreal. It was a cool experience. We had the headsets on, and you hear all the radio chatter from airlines to weekend warriors. At one point, a novice pilot was clearly confused and was broadcasting a call for help over the emergency channel. He had lost or miskeyed his channel assignment from the air control. He couldn't reach anyone. I need Mike's Asian guy voice to read this. It was funny to hear this chatter across the radio. My boss and I were laughing.
Oh boy. This is a Charlie Victor Romeo. Can anyone hear me? Hello. Charlie Victor Romeo. I can't hear anyone. Anyone there?
Over and over and over, right? For like an hour. Mark says this went on for 30 minutes. His other pilots radioed the guy and tried to help. He must have made a rookie mistake, muted the audio, or had his volume turned down. I ended up telling my boss about DCast and Walter's Asian guy. We plugged my iPod into the audio panel and got to listen to the show for a while. 11,000 feet, 215 miles per hour, with Big E accompanying my boss. He liked the show.
Poor sap.
I know. That's crazy to think. Katie writes in, so I got to admit, I was less than thrilled when AA Ron, her husband,
husband,
said that all he wanted for his birthday was to go see Eric perform at Laugh Tracks. Mike or Jay, absolutely. But driving that far to see Eric made me a little hesitant. But being the good wifey that I am, I booked a jacuzzi suite and surprised him with his birthday weekend adventures with a smile on my face.
Wow.
Even if it did include Big E. So you can imagine how much it pains me to say that I had a blast. Eric killed it and far exceeded my expectations. He's actually funny, even without Jay and Mike for support. So thanks for making AA Ron's birthday a success, Eric. Slowly, reluctantly becoming an Eric fan. Katie, aka AA Ron's beard.
That's awesome.
I'll take it.
Yeah.
Wow. Thank you so much.
And be clear about it. Jay and I had nothing to do with last night. We just showed up.
Yeah.
We didn't take the stage. We talked to everybody, but that was your deal.
Dude,
it was great.
I swear I'll keep this small, but like when I hear stories like that, guys, I really just can't tell you how much it means to me. I mean, just from coming from Facebooking Walters and doing that first show to the point of, I've had several points along this quote unquote whatever I've been doing where it's like
journey,
right? Like I know it sounds corny, but like where if it fuckers, I've done so many comedy, driving 2 hours for 5 minutes, and it really was. I'm not trying to be weird about it, but it really hit.
He's developing feelings.
He is.
It's crazy to watch.
Yeah.
It meant so much to me. All you guys that showed up.
Let's make him cry. Let's make him cry.
Yeah,
Keep going. Keep going. E, tell us more. How much did it mean?
You know what? You know, I've come over with some.
Were your parents proud?
They were.
Oh no!
Keep talking about it. Keep talking about it.
You know what? You son of a bitch. I in the last.
Did you
month,
tell Nana?
Look,
Man, I gotta tell you about my night last night.
I shouldn't even tell you this because you're probably gonna have to make me send this in. But in the last month, I've came over this like personal happiness. I don't know where it came from. And when we were at Vegas, we had
I was going down on TCG.
No,
the night was right.
Made me very happy.
We had a dinner, and I gave like a speech at the dinner about everyone at the table and how they meant so much to me.
What the fuck is going on with
this
you?
guy? I don't know.
What did you say? What did you say about TCG? Did you break down? You broke down, didn't you? You son of a bitch.
No, it was just I just told them about how it was like I don't know if I die tomorrow, everyone at this table has been a big part of my life.
Yeah.
If I die tomorrow, I know you'd all be really, really happy.
But fuck all of you anyway. I don't know. What are you gonna do? No, but it meant a lot. Anyway, thank you so much for everyone that came out. My God, people that stayed at a hotel.
It was awesome for us. Honestly, sitting there and hearing that reaction for you, it was cool for. It was cool for me just seeing that. It was
and
like,
you know
wow.
You know what? We get an email and I know he might not have sent it to you, but he sent it to me. I know you read the email, but he just made a point here that was kind of this idea that it's actually harder than you would think. Some people would think, oh, you have a big crowd, but he's kind of right. The idea of doing a comedy thing, a lot of professionals in front of listeners and just work people, it's different than a strange crowd. And it's actually harder to headline because, man, if I'd bombed, and they would have had fun no matter what. But if I'd got up there and just not been funny, like this wife, she drove AA Ron, and those one people drove from KZoo. We had two people that came out last night that stayed in hotels.
Oh, there was. Yeah, I talked to a couple people who got hotels, other than who you just referenced.
Okay, so what if? I mean, and like I said, they would have had fun no matter what. But if I would have just, it was a lot on the line. That if I just really bombed, they would have been like, yeah, it was fun, but man, he wasn't funny.
Yeah,
and
not doing that again.
I know. It just meant a lot to me. I really appreciate it. So
yeah,
feelings, everything.
It's crazy,
crazy.
Yeah, I got to follow up a quick story on last night or the night before. So we're leaving, and I just met a listener named Heather as I'm walking out, and her husband or boyfriend named Brian, I believe. Sorry if I screwed that up, but we meet, and then we're like, all right, we're gonna get going. So see ya. And I'm walking out with Gab and our friends. And Heather and Brian sort of walk out behind us, and I see them out of the corner of my eye. They're going to their car. We're going to ours.
Oh, no.
Oh, boy.
I turn around. I'm like, hey, I wonder where the moon is tonight.
No.
Gab's like, you friggin' douchebag. Dude, those three let me have it in the car for like 10 minutes, just busting my mouth. You are such a douche. I'm like, it was kind of funny,
That's
right?
hilarious.
I thought so too.
I would have laughed if I was there.
They were like, oh, you're such an asshole. You're such an asshole. They're like, those two listeners think you're a total douchebag right now. They're thinking,
no, they don't. No way they do.
You made their night.
Yeah, you probably made their night.
I wonder if Jay's looking at the moon tonight too.
I didn't think it was that bad, right?
No, that's not that bad.
They freaking let me have it.
Now I could see them. I could see them letting you have it, not for them thinking you're a douche, but for thinking that, like, well, now Jay thinks he has a catchphrase. Now he knows he's playing to the audience.
Well, it was sort of both of those. Just you're douchey and like shut up, sort of thing.
Well, sometimes you need that, right? You need somebody to like knock you down again.
Yeah, they're always going to be like that. Beth would have said the same thing to me, but I guarantee you, the listeners laughed at that as I would have and E would have.
Yeah. Oh God, yes.
Yeah, that's funny.
I try.
Yeah.
The last one, John writes in, Hitler stash is his array line. Sorry, I'm a bit behind, but I heard you talking about people who can't sport, they can't sport Hitler stashes anymore. Well, there's a guy here at my work sporting one. I was taken aback a while ago when I first saw it. I was like, no way, he's trying to pull it off.
No way.
It's like John's like rooting for him. Like, holy shit, go for it, dude.
Is he writing from Germany?
Here's the image of our organization chart. No Photoshop. Look at this dude. Donald whatever.
Oh, Don.
Look at my man.
No, that is.
I give him credit. Absurd,
That's ballsy.
It? Fucking absurd. He is in corporate America with like a jacket and tie on and a full out Hitler.
That has to be photoshopped. There's no way.
Come on.
Can you imagine?
No.
No way.
I can see if you're like an artist or something, or doing something where you don't have interface, like in a business
corporate
environment.
America.
If that's real, and he's working with people, wouldn't every single person he ever ran into at least think, wow, this guy's
that is absurd, man.
He would claim it's a chaplain. He tried to go that route, probably.
Yeah.
I'm just a fan of chaplain.
But I mean, John rubbed out the guy's name just to, make sure I don't accidentally say it. So I think it's real. I think it's real.
I guarantee if you asked him, he'd go, I'm a huge Chuck Chaplin fan. That's what it is. But
I really love silent movies. I mean,
they're my
great.
favorite.
The talkies. Or no, he doesn't like the talkies. He likes
non-talkies.
Yeah.
We'll save the rest for tomorrow.
All right.
Oh,
sounds
shit.
good.
Yeah, sorry. I rambled on with too much emotions. My bad.
That was incredible.
I'm not even drunk.
All right, everybody. Thanks again for coming out this weekend. It was fun meeting everybody, saying hi to everybody, and seeing all the people we've met before.
Making jokes in parking lots. Moon jokes, which I thought was awesome.
I thought it was
fabulous.
I had no problem with it. None. That'll do it for a Monday edition of the Detroit Cast. Let's do it again tomorrow for an all-new Tuesday version.
You've been listening to the Detroit Cast with your hosts, Mike and Jay. From all of us at Radio for One Studios, thank you for listening. And as always, thank you, Detroit.
Listen to God, watch you grow.